Hello, good evening, and welcome to my first stream. Today we will be starting in Crusader Kings 3. We are aiming for the Bloodeagle achievement, and we will be starting as Bjorn Ironside up in Scandinavia. Give me one moment and we will switch over. So we're now here at the selection screen, and I'll walk you through why we're going to be picking Bjorn as opposed to any of his siblings. First of all, it's because Bjorn starts with the focus in diplomacy, which allows us to build our renown better. We're aiming for renown because starting as a Norseman, there's two unique dynasty legacies we can get, which are going to become useful later in the game. So let's click start and get into it. Of course, we also need to make sure that we are in fact in Iron Man mode. Let's get going. So we're going to start with a new Iron Man. You can see here I've got multiple games as Bjorn Ironside I've done in the past, just to make sure everything works. So we're going to overwrite our existing save and let it load. Bjorn is probably one of my favourite characters. Whilst he's a Norseman, and so we have this focus on prowess, conquering, he also has the diplomacy focus. He's leveled up enough within his focus that he can pick a couple of perks. He's not quite managed to finish off one tree, but that does make him a good person to start with if you haven't yet finished a tree. The only problem, of course, is whilst he's brave, which is wonderful, it gives you that bonus piety, he's impatient and he's honest. Honest is a bit of a problem here, because if we ever want to kill someone, that's going to try and stop us. So, day one, what we need to do. We're aiming to take all of the British Isles. Now that's going to be a problem. We've got our brothers doing some invasions. We've got our brother Halfdan of Jorvik, who's holding Jorvik and currently doing an invasion of Northumbria. We also have our brother Ivar the Boneless up in the Sudrea. And we have our third brother, Sigurdur Snake in the Eye of Shealand. I have found in my previous games that Sigurdur is the biggest problem. He will generally try and attack you whenever he can, because he has claims on all my personal land. If we look at Halfdan, he does as well, but he's busy doing his own thing. And if we look at Ivar, he also has claims, but again, he's doing his own thing. He doesn't really seem bothered. So, day one, we want to try and weaken Francia. Now, whilst we're honest, and that's going to be a problem if we start killing anyone, we still want to try and kill him. Charles is hated on day one. Lots of people dislike him as a king. So we have a 95% chance of getting him killed. We have a 95% chance of not being found out, and it's only going to take a year. So we start a scheme. We gain 38 stress. Stress is a new mechanic in Crusader Kings 3, as opposed to Crusader Kings 2, to make sure that we are online, we are playing in line with how our character should be. In Crusader Kings 2, you could do whatever you wanted as any character. Even if you had all of the virtuous traits, you could still then go around, be evil, murder, kill, imprison, do whatever you wanted, and that was not really anything the game could do to stop you. Stress is the way Crusader Kings aims to mitigate this. So what we need to do also on day one is reset our perks. This will take us over 100 stress. We will have a mental break. I'm hoping we will pick one of the useful mental breaks, but I don't particularly have my fingers crossed. So reset perks. Now the important ones here are getting down to writing history, which will allow us to take the commission epic decision, which will allow us to pump up our renown. Other than that, the rest of the August tree is quite good. It gives us bonuses to prestige through prestige per dread, as a Norse ruler, we're likely to have high dread quite a lot. Inspiring rule, which will give us bonus prestige per powerful vassal on the council. I'll walk you through in a few minutes why that's going to be not a problem for us to deal with at all. And Praetorian Guard, which gives us monthly prestige per knight. Again, this is all really helpful for getting the prestige that we're going to potentially want later in the game. Groomed to Rule is also really helpful because those bonus 1 to 3 extra skill points mean that all our children are going to be better in comparison to anyone else's. I do like some of the ones over here in the diplomat tree. The forced vassalage can be useful if you're surrounded by people significantly weaker than you. But to begin with, it's not going to be helpful for us. Before we start picking up our perks though, we need to select our lifestyle. Now, ideally we want to survive to a minimum of 69 years old. This is because if we manage to hit 69 years old and everything else goes to plan, it won't go to plan, we'll be able to pick up the 2 dynastic legacies that the Norse have at level 1. By doing this, we'll then be able to move away from Norse into a culture that we can control ourselves, which is useful because the AI is rubbish at pretty much everything to do with unlocking technology. But it's getting to that age that's a problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the medicine focus. This gives us a minor bonus to our learning. Given our learning is free, that's completely unimportant. And a small boost to our health. The boost to our health is the important part. We're going to go through, select our perks, going down August, as I said, to get the Writing History perk. Writing History means we can now commission the epic. And with the recent updates to Azure as part of the most recent patch, we can in fact do this on day 1 because we now start off with a bonus of 50 gold, which means we can commission epic straight away. This is supposed to be for our men-at-arms, but we pay for them with prestige because we're tribal. So, a family epic. What I need is a classic tale of the grandeur of my family, a song about the origins of the Munso dynasty, and how we are destined for greatness. I only need someone who knows how to tell a story. So our options are Thora, the accomplished storyteller. I will gather some of the best bards. Surely any lowly stable boy could do it on second thought. Now, Thora will cost us 100 gold, but gives us a high chance of an exceptional epic. Best Bards is an unpredictable chance of an exceptional epic, but costs 50 gold. Any lowly stable boy gives us Hrafen, and a low chance of an exceptional epic, but only costs 2 gold. Now, Hrafen has a learning of 8, as opposed to Thora, who has a learning of 24. So we're going to go with Thora. Although this will send us into the negatives, that's not a major problem. Going down to minus 80 gold, we can recover from this, especially as we are in fact already at war. So we're now going to raise all armies. And let's have a look what men-at-arms we've got. We've got Bondi, we've got Huskarls, and we've got Vigmen. From the plays I've done, you do tend to start with around this size. Bondi seems to often be 4, and then you end up with 2 of the others. I have never yet started off with Varangians as my initial men-at-arms, although they are better in pretty much every way than the Huskarls and the Bondi and Vigmen. If we're going just for destructive power, they really hit above their weight class. So, as we expected, the mental break. So, mental break, resentment. Why must I always do everything myself? How can I be expected to rule over Upland when half of my servants are incapable of following my orders and the other half does not even understand them? Our options here are, why must you all be incompetent idiots, which will give us the irritable trait. Irritable gives us minus diplomacy, minus martial, bonus to prowess, stress loss and dread gain, and a minor to our attraction. We also get the release your anger interaction, which allows us to duel anyone when we're stressed. The second option we have here is Odin, I need a drink. Gives us drunkard. Now drunkard is going to be negative to our stewardship, negative to our prowess, a penalty to our health, bonus to our stress loss, and a bonus opinion for any other drunkard characters. Now, as we're aiming to survive for quite a while, we don't want to pick drunkard. The health penalty, even though it's tiny, we're going to be stacking penalties as high as we want to avoid stacking penalties. We're going to be stacking bonuses as high as we can. And I'm going to be honest, irritable whilst we lose the stress. The penalty to our diplomacy and martial, at this point, I don't particularly want to deal with it. So I'm going to endure. We gain a further 57 stress, which takes us up to nearly 200. We're on 190. This could potentially be a problem, but we're going to be able to deal with it relatively soon. So as our sort of starting position, about a week into the game, we're now on negative 77 gold. We're losing prestige per month. We're gaining 2.5 piety per month, and we're on 123 renown a month. We will be aiming to go for the 250 renown to get our first dynastic legacy. Generally speaking, we need that before we move out of Scandinavia. That's not a problem because we only need 130 renown, close enough, which, given we're getting 12 a year, sort of, it's going to be a while. This is what the commission epic decision has been for. If we're lucky, we can get about 150 through this. If we're less lucky, we'll get about 75. I always make sure to keep the outliner open when I remember, because it's much quicker to skip around our domain holdings, and also allows us to pick the army here. We're commanding the army, so we're now going to go and join our brother's war for Northumbria. So here we go. The first choice within our commission epic decision has come up. Family epic perspective. My family epic seems to be progressing well, and some lines already sound like they'll be quoted for decades to come, but Thora has a lot of questions about the focus of the story. It'd be easier to answer if she wrote it all first, then I could tell her what I dislike about it, but she insists she needs answers now. That's always the way, isn't it? So what we're going to do is have a look here. It should focus on me and my destiny, of course, which will give us personal prestige. It's a family history, so be generous, which will gain us more renown, and tell the story as truthfully as possible. Now, out of these options, given that we're focusing on renown, we're going to stick with picking renown. So a family history. This should, fingers crossed, allow us to get that first legacy quite early. Once we've got that legacy, we can then work on getting our second legacy. Getting our second legacy is going to vaguely be a problem, but it should be doable. I'm just going to speed up a little whilst we're going across the sea. Okay, bring the speed back down, just to avoid any problems when we unpause. Family epic eternal obligations. It seems as if Diri has been listening to parts of my new family epic. Of course he has discovered discrepancies between promises made in the past and our current reality. I can tell that he will not let it go anytime soon. Surely you can see how wise and benevolent it would be to fulfill your forebear's promise, even now. Now let's have a look at Diri. Okay, he's a quite good Hofgordi. He's got 16. We do have someone on 15. We've got my son's wife is on 15, so she's going to be relatively nice. Let's have a look at the options here. I belong to a long line of promise keepers. The control level in the chieftain of Sodermanaland will change by -30. Diri gains 30 opinion of me. I gain 75 prestige and I gain 100 piety. My ancestors were pious but not necessarily wise. Diri loses 10 opinion of me and I gain 150 prestige. Now Diri has opinion of me of 31. So losing 10 opinion of me, that's not going to be a problem. We also see that we've got a malice here of short reign. That's going to go away over time. It doesn't matter that we upset him to get that extra prestige. The reason we're going for the prestige is as a tribal leader, as we are right now, prestige pretty much just replaces gold. You build with prestige, you pay your armies in prestige, people like you more based on your prestige. So getting that extra prestige now, especially when it's so easily farmable, is very helpful. So here we go, we've now got an offer for a concubine, Cecilia. Cecilia is 20 years old. For some reason she is a military engineer. She's got 19 martial. Someone has trained her someone up very well. So we're going to accept her as a concubine. No. In CK3, women are fertile up to, I believe it's 36. Our concubines are at this point just here to give us some extra kids, mainly because my firstborn son is 24. I'm 41. When I die, he's going to be only 20 years younger than me, and will then be dying in about 20 years' time. Probably less, because I won't have been able to direct him. Whereas his firstborn son is 7, so he's about 35 years younger than me. So again, he's going to die quite quickly. Also, he's lisping, which gives us the malice to diplomacy, malice to attraction, and it's congenital, which means we want it sort of elsewhere, to be honest. So, we now have our new event in the family epic. Family epic, A Question of Time. I have not been presented with new work on my family epic for weeks, and the whole process is either taking too long, or she ends up doing shoddy work. Is it truly too much to demand that she delivers excellent and that she delivers it now? Wow, I am a terrible boss. So I want it to be good and I want it now, which gives me a reduced chance of producing an exceptional epic. Or I will put her up for as long as it takes. I lose 15 gold, I gain 76 stress because I am impatient. 76 stress will take me... Oh, that's a problem, but we'll take it anyway. So the stress, this is a problem. We're going to suffer another mental break. That's not ideal. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, we're on 266. Again, 38. Cool. Oh, okay, excellent. So I've gained Lunatic. Now, Lunatic is actually awful, except for the fact that it allows us to build a glass monument. I will get to that in a minute. We're just going to finish off this event here. So, Family Epic, another new event, The Song of Our People. I mull over the last few lines Thora has provided me from my family epic, and as I start humming, I realise it follows the same rhythm as one of my tribesmen's favourite songs. If the story of my ancestors was set to such a memorable melody, it would surely never be forgotten. So I should have asked for this to begin with, or I am sure Thora can come up with something equally good. Now, of these options, I should have asked for this to begin with will give us instantly 75 renown. Or I'm sure Thora can come up with something equally good, has a 20% chance of giving us 150 renown, 150 prestige and 75 renown, a 60% chance of 150 prestige and 20% chance of losing 75 prestige. I don't know why I would ever pick anything other than I should have asked for this to begin with. The 75 renown is a huge amount here. So we're going to pick that. That takes us up to 204 prestige, which is good. We're now very, very nearly at where we need to be, which will allow us to take our first legacy and allow us to take our first steps out of Scandinavia. Let's reduce the speed a little bit. And have a quick check. Do we have any options here? Okay, so the reason that Lunatic is actually a good trait, despite the minor penalty to your health and the problems with attraction and vassal, first of all, you've got the hostile scheme resistance plus 10. You're less likely to be murdered. That's quite good. I presume it's because you're really, really unpredictable. The other reason Lunatic is really good is because once you hit a certain level of prestige, you unlock the ability to build a glass house. A glass house is a special building that can be built in the special building slot of wherever it is your capital is, unless your capital already has a special slot. It gives minor bonuses through the game, but to be able to get it this early will help transform a core duchy into something that will remain useful. So here we go, we've got an excellent epic. My family epic has been finished. Flora has completed my family epic, and what a glorious song she has composed. It has high drama, moral quandaries, and tense duels. Everything my family has been forged from is in there. Even the part with a magical sword, seemingly so far-fetched, has become a touching moment outlining the destiny of my house. Well, isn't that nice? This might be the greatest song ever written. I gained Commissioned Excellent Family Epic for 10 years, which gives us a bonus of 5 prestige per month, instantly taking us out of our negative spiral. Gain 75 prestige, and we gain a bonus 75 renown. Excellent. That takes us to 280 renown. So we can now unlock our first legacy. So, Warfare, Lore, Guile, Blood, Erudition, Glory, and Kin are the standard ones. Anyone, anywhere in the game can pick these up without any problem. Anyone who picks these up gets bonuses, it gets bigger over time. So, for example, Lore, your first one, you get bonus to popular opinion, you get cheaper Hunt and Feast. Second one, you get cheaper title creation, you get bonus control growth. That's quite useful, actually. Power and Prosperity, you get slightly cheaper buildings, slightly more experience, delegated authority. Powerful vassals like you more. Powerful vassals give you more tax and give you more levies. Again, that's quite useful. And Home Estate, you get 1 more domain limit, and you get +5 defender advantage in controlled territory. That's terrible. I don't know why you'd want the controlled territory defender advantage. Defender advantage, each defender advantage you have gives you a bonus 2% damage. Given that it's only when you are defending there, that's not ideal. So our 2 options as our first legacy. We've got Adventure, which unlocks Wanderlust, giving a 30% bonus to diplomatic range. We receive bonus troops above the cap when adventuring, and we can send to the Varangian Guard so long as we remain the dynastic head. Adventuring is something unique to the Norse. It allows you to do a special type of war. You up sticks, head off somewhere else, leave everything behind and conquer a new realm. That's going to be one of the first wars we declare ourselves. Pillage, on the other hand, gives us a bonus to prowess, gives us a bonus to naval speed, and gives us a bonus to prestige and fame from battles. Now that's very useful for doubling prestige from battles, especially when we have multiple allies and we can dive into their wars, just throw our troops into a meat grinder. That's very good. But to begin with, we want Wanderlust. So we unlock that, and that takes us down back to 30 renown. To make sure that we commission Epic straight away, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Only almost. So to make sure that we commission Epic as soon as possible, we notify when this is decision, and we'll do this for Host Feast and Call Hunt. This just means we'll get a pop-up here in purple as soon as they're available for us, which is nice, especially for Commission Epic, as I have left that lying fallow before. We'll go back to war, sieging down Benice, and leave the Family Epic a work completed. So we have the option here of letting Flora go away or stay. I don't want to give her any more money, she's got enough out of me, so we'll just let her go, and we will then leave the war going on. So how are you doing today, Only Almost? Have you had a good Friday? Are you looking forward to a weekend? Have you got anything to do this weekend at all? It's going quite well for me. I've got no major plans, other than doing this, see where it goes, stay up too late, and drink much too much coffee. So we've taken Benicia. We've gained 17 gold, which is why I said earlier going down isn't going to be too much of a problem. And we're now going to move on and just take Kelso because it's nice and close. We could, if we wanted, go and start taking up in Dunbar, Lothian, Annandale, because these are seats of someone's power, which means we can ransom them to get that extra gold. But Kelso is close, and we just want to try and take the areas outside Northumberland so that Jorvik takes as much of the British Isles as possible. AJ, glad you're taking it easy this weekend. First vaccine. Yeah, I've seen that the first vaccine can be hell. It's sort of almost just flip a coin. one way or the other as to whether it's bad or not. I hope Nat recovers quick, or at least has a smooth time. It's not too bad. I've had my first. I had absolutely no reaction, which stood out quite severely to everyone else in the house, who sort of just went down for the week, ended up sleeping for several days. Knock up the speed a little bit. Continue sieging down. Oh good, we're now ready to kill King Charles. Smooth Nat upsets you. Well, I mean, you don't have to imagine it. You could think of Rough Nat instead if you'd like. So our options here are to go ahead with the murder, or to let it or to run away. We kind of need to avoid the stress at the minute. We'll gain 19 stress from killing him, but we'll gain 38 stress for stopping it. There's a few traits that overlap, and it makes it horrible. So we're going to try and kill him. Yep, he's dead. This is really good. Let me zoom out and look back at France. So because he had two kingdoms, he had West Francia and Aquitaine. When he died, these split up through Confederate partition amongst his two sons. They're now both much weaker than he was. Only almost my first one was worse than the second, but I only suffered for a couple of days, and you had the AstraZeneca. It seems, I'd say it seems to be split based on what people had, because I know a few people at work had the Pfizer and came down with the Pfizer flu, but I had that and was fine. It's sort of, I guess I just need to get out a crystal ball, or roll a dice. That might be a better way of doing it, perhaps, than just hoping for the best. We'll keep on sieging down here in Kelso. We're very nearly there. Are we going to be able to get this done? We have. One of the things I dislike about these sorts of wars is if we have a look at Northumbria. Northumbria is against war for Jarl Halfdan of Jorvik. We're at 100%, that means we're going to win. He's also at war against Jarl Ivor in a separate war for Lothian. Apparently we are against Jarl Ivar, despite Ivar being my brother and him being allied to Halfdan of Jorvik, because that makes perfect sense. So we're just going to let them realise they have done. So we've hit the 100%, we're going to let it happen. We've hit the war goal of conquering Northumbria. So because we weren't the primary instigator, we gain extra fame, we gain extra prestige, and they all like us more. This you will, that's not true because it's not us. It is directed to Halfdan. And Petty King Ella is now dead. So, that's good. We're no longer overwhelmed by stress. I'm going to disband our troops, and let's have a look. We're pretty much at maximum. Do we have any prisoners? We don't. Okay. We also don't have any gold, which means we can't host a feast, we can't go hunting, and we can't appoint a physician yet. Do we have... We're in debt and we've got titles can be created. So, titles we're not too worried about at this point. What we are worried about is getting more gold. So we're going to raise everyone as raiders. Raiding is semi-unique. East African religions can raid. East African cultures can raid. Norse and Scandinavian religions can raid, and anyone tribal can raid. Raiding is, again, slightly different to Crusader Kings 2, in that you will now go and raid somewhere. Thank you, yeah, the animated talking guy. Animated talking guy is based on Asher, who was a character in a friend's Dungeons and Dragons campaign. I needed inspiration for my PNG, and I thought, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go back with Asher, who was a sorcerer who got kicked out of wizard school. I figured, in keeping with the Thaumatologist name, which I came up with a very long time ago to do with on studying magic. I'd try and get someone who looks vaguely wizardy. So what we're doing now is we're just going around raiding to try and get ourselves into a positive gold intake. We are on plus 1.9 because as tribal we don't need to worry about paying our men. They're happy to do it just if we tell stories about them and give them beer. Fire and Blood, because we are leading the raid, we get the option to, on raiding the settlement of Groban, an important stronghold in Greater Groban, which has fallen to our raiders. We have the run of vast tracts of lands and many of the quivering subjects and shining treasures of High Chieftain Coderade to choose from. The troops stand by, awaiting my command. So I can ask them to bring me bounteous plunder, which is going to upset this dude, but it gives me extra prestige and extra loot. Or we have taken enough already. I spend 50 piety. No, I'm a Viking. Give me money. So we're now up to 63 gold, which will take us up to nearly 70 when we go back. Let's have a look if there's anyone else. So all these little torches indicate that it's been recently raided. If we want to, the best target to raid is Canterbury, because Canterbury has, have a look here, it's got the Canterbury Cathedral. It gives bonus to holding taxes and it gives a bonus tax, so that comes together. It's generally got about 60 gold sitting there. That makes it very useful. Alfred of Wessex does have a similar number of men to us, but he is actually at war with Jarl Ivar. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and break into his house. Good. I've got a granddaughter, Joran Eirik's daughter. Yep, no, she can just keep that name, that's fine. And we've had another pop-up, an alliance. Now the alliance here is with someone who, he doesn't have any claim on my titles, it's why he's willing to ally with me, but he's not got anywhere near enough troops to make it worthwhile, especially as my brother has significantly more troops and is his primary heir. I will try and negotiate an alliance here, because Halfdan is eventually going to die. I'm going to negotiate an alliance with his son. His son is going to, at some point, take over. Hopefully I'll still be alive. Is animated talking guy missing a hand? So I believe it's stuck in a sleeve. If you watch when I stop talking, both sleeves go to the same length. So I think it's holding clasped hands behind his back. He wasn't designed missing a hand. I quite like wearing a watch when I remember where I kept it. But to be honest, I can't see that hand either, so he could well be missing a hand. Negotiate an alliance. No, I don't want an alliance, thank you. So let's, we don't particularly care about any earls at this point, an earl being the lowest Norse ruler. We only realistically want to set the alliances with jarls, but neither of my brothers, none of my three brothers are going to be willing to do an alliance because of their claims on my land until I don't hold that land anymore. There we go, we've now got 84 gold sitting in the pot. We're going to go back home rather than raiding the rest of Wessex. I'll speed it up a little bit because it's just a sea voyage. Hopefully nothing important is going to happen. Disband all of them. Yeah, okay, I suppose I probably should pay a ransom to get my grandson back. He's kind of important. Do we have any prisoners? How much are you going to sell for? Now, the Grand Blot is good for gaining bonus piety, but at this point we're not worrying about it. That's going to trickle up by itself over time and isn't particularly useful. The Host Feast and Call Hunt are useful because we are a novice hunter. We're going to initially start with the call Hunt. That should give us a reduction in our stress, so we should stop dying of it. Whilst we're hunting, we're also going to declare war on Chieftainstein Skúlisson of Gotland. Now, the reason here is Gotland is a one-province duchy. If we mess around with our view of the map down here in the bottom right, I tend to stick in the realm map. This shows who the overall liege is of everywhere. So we can scan around and we see Italy is all under Italy. We've got Aquitaine and Francia have exclaves in each other. Oh, Hastings has taken over Mercia. And then we can go over and look at the Byzantines, the Abbasids, the Tulunids. But the other options are also quite useful. We've got Duchy, Kingdom and Empire. Who needs grandkids? Well, I mean, what I plan on doing is actually reliant on my grandkids. So, Sigtuna, part of Uppland, it's actually my current capital, has the Temple of Uppsala. Now, the Temple of Uppsala has bonus tax, levy size, holding taxes, development growth. This is all very useful if we were planning on staying here. It also gives a bonus to piety, a bonus to renown, cheaper men-at-arms, and bonus to knights. This is all very good when we're doing lots and lots of war. The big thing here is for renown, because we're aiming to get the renown up to 750. It currently only goes up by 1.5 a month, so that's going to be a challenge. Each independent ruler of your dynasty gives you bonuses to renown. They can't do it if they're your vassals, but that doesn't mean you can't land them and then set them free. So, Hunt, felling a beast. You would think it a creature from myth, perhaps a god disguised in animal form. It was the largest wolf I have ever seen. Even after the beast was wounded, the chase lasted half a day. It was still an imposing sight, lying dead before me. So my options here are its head will look beautiful in my Great Hall, giving me a hunting trophy, which gives me bonus plus 0.05 prestige a month, or it shall be a trophy to my brother, making Jarl Sigurdur, who already quite likes me. And this minus 20 malice is going to go away relatively soon. I would rather have the prestige. Thank you. Return home reinvigorated, a bonus set of prestige. And we will then host feast. I suppose one of the other nice changes we've made from Crusader Kings 2 is the hovering over a pop-up to make things more permanent. If we open myself here, we've got all my different traits. I can hover over Brave, and we can see in the upper right it gets a small circle above personality trait. This tells me what Brave gives me. Once that circle fills, it's locked in. I can go around and have a look. I can then pop out the Piety. Piety pops up, gives me all the information on Piety. I can then go and have a look at my Doctrines. I can then let that pop up. I can then go and have a look at my Faith. That pops up. It makes it a lot easier to find everything, as opposed to Crusader Kings 2, where it is very much a case of alt-tabbing out to the wiki or having a look through the internal help section, which was not always very helpful. So, we're going to declare our first war, and we're going to declare war for Gotland. Because it's a one-county duchy, this means we'll be able to make a duchy, which means we can then make it our primary duchy. This means we can give away our secondary duchy, which will be Uppland. Now, this goes back to the Temple of Uppsala I was talking about earlier, because we can grant our son these 3 counties, and then give him the Jarldom of Uppland. He goes independent, he retains the bonus to the renown, and it will pretty much double how much we're getting. This is another reason why I quite enjoy starting as Bjorn Ironside. You can cheese the system a little bit. So we're going to raise all our armies, move the speed down a bit. We have the armies slowly gather, everyone pulls together, and we send them all sailing off to Gotland. So our first feast event. Unconcerned with any etiquette, my vassal Chieftain Svein slaps me on the back. "I mean it," he exclaims. "I'll do anything you ask of me. Anything at all. Ask me, and it is done." I can smell the alcohol in his breath, but the promise has been noted by every guest present. So I can gain a weak hook on him by following through on this, or I can make him like me more. Neither of those are particularly important because I'm not planning on sticking around, so I'm going to forgive him. We'll let him get away with being drunk and making promises he shouldn't. Second event, feast in my house. I did everything I could, ensuring that Irica and Chieftain Riculfur would be far away from each other as possible. It was not enough, and now they have come to blows in the middle of my feast. One of my guards is close to the brawl, and looks to me for the order to intervene. So we've got 3 options here, and this bottom one has a scroll by it. This indicates that it's perhaps a one that I've unlocked due to my stats, rather than being one of the defaults. So the options are to throw Riculfur out, so Irica gains 20 opinion of me. Is Irica my son? He is! He's a bit rubbish though. I can restrain Irica, so Riculfur will like me more. Or halt, we will talk about this later for the bonus prestige. So again, we're just going to go for the extra prestige. It doesn't particularly matter if my son likes me. What's he going to do? So as my guests depart, everyone heads home. I'm proud to say it was a success, and I have my wife Ileana to thank for much of its success, and I feel nothing but gratitude as she sees the last few guests off. Well, that's nice. Thank you Camazamillion for following. So we now gain the 150, every guest enjoys it, and we send over to finish the war. So welcome to the stream, Camazamillion. Have you got anything planned this weekend? Are you up to anything interesting tonight? Or are you, much like me, staying in, playing too many computer games, drinking too much coffee, and wasting the best years of your life online? Here we go, we've captured Gotland. I am quite famously a monster in this game, does not surprise me, he says that's my son. I mean, I will say that when I started playing Crusader Kings, I sort of thought, oh, it's going to give me a chance to be nice and to, you know, go through those medieval things, like much like those reenactments put on by English Heritage. And then sort of 2 hours in, you're like, no, I entirely understand the Lannisters, I understand Disney villains. Family is everything. Why are you marrying that hunchback mare from the middle of nowhere? No, go and marry the princess of somewhere else. I don't care that she's ugly. You'll do as I say. Oh, you don't want to do what I say? Right, prison. It's a fun game. Just don't necessarily play it around anyone who wants to have the best idea of you. So before finishing the war, we also want to see if we can ransom anyone, because on finishing war, all your prisoners will be released. Neither of these prisoners can be ransomed. The chieftain would not accept it. Hjalmar is a berserker, which makes him good at killing people, and he's an organizer, which makes him able to move faster. That's going to be very important shortly. He's a sadist, he's trusting, and he's ambitious, which seems like a very strange set of traits for one person to have. We're going to negotiate release, and we're going to recruit him. He will dislike us for this initially, but that's fine. And Frarika, again, he's kind of useful. I say wasting life online, I say finding refined content sips Mountain Dew. Yeah, wasting life online, it's not really wasting life, is it? It's enjoying every moment of it by staying inside. Inside is much better than outside. You get AC and central heating inside. So, we have recruited those two. We're going to finish the war by enforcing demands, our conquest of the chiefdom of Gotland. Now, the war score here is because we've conquered the entire holding area. We also get it from winning battles, but we get 100 from holding the entire area. Because we're only going for one county, we only need to conquer one county. We also would get the ticking war score here. Anyone familiar with Paradox games will know ticking war score is very, very useful. We're going to enforce demands, we take it. We're going to stay paused because we have a few things pop up here. Yeah, football outside. I am quite bad at football. I think it's the entire lack of knowing where my arms and legs are. So going across the top, we've got victory, victory, victory. and then we've got to go through here. So available perks, above domain limit, and decision available raise runestone. If you don't like football, do you like any other sports? Actually, that goes for all of you, Scorpy, Only Almost, and Camazamillion. I got quite into roller derby a couple of years ago. Never actually playing it, I just enjoyed watching it. I thought it was great fun. The Extreme Sports Channel used to host the US Emergency Services League, which would have like the New York firefighters versus Chicago police officers. And they weren't very good at the game, they were just very good at being gladiators, I suppose I should say. So going through the notifications, we're going to start with available perks. What we want to do is we want to survive. Your girlfriend loves roller derby, can't do it because of a dodgy ankle, but it's insane. Does she play or does she just watch it? I would have loved to play roller derby, but there was no male league anywhere near me. The closest place was about 100 miles away. Given I didn't have a car, that made it a problem. And actually, the female league wasn't particularly close either. That was about 30 miles away, and 2 train transfers, which would have made it a bit complicated to get to. But no, I do enjoy watching it. But because we're looking to survive, we've got the options here of Whole of Body, Scholar, and Theologian. Just watches. Fair enough, fair enough. Tickets, wider events are on the TV. Because we're looking to survive long, we're going to go with Anatomical Studies. It makes court physicians cheaper and court physicians less likely to screw up. Unlock that. Hopefully we'll survive that little bit longer. Secondly, we're above our domain limit. So what we're going to do, we're going to get our son, we're going to grant him here. We're then going to move our title. We don't quite have enough gold to make it worthwhile yet. Disband all troops. So, and raise runestone. Raise runestone, we're going to do perhaps my vanquished foe stain. We're going to do this, and we've got the option to do it on Gotland, Upland, or Södermanland. We're going to do this on Upland. Not that it particularly matters, we're going to be losing all this land ourselves anyway. On pause. Gained a favour hook. Gained a favour hook. Pick the speed up a little bit. Okay, that's everything gone. Now go through the minor notes. Low counter control, don't care. Declare wars, don't care. Negotiate alliances. Who are you? My son. I really do need to recognise my son. I am terrible. Negotiate an alliance with him. Now, we're negotiating alliance despite him being our vassal, because at some point he's going to stop being our vassal. At which point it's going to be helpful if we can come to his aid when someone declares war on him. We're going to take our raiders and have a look, where can we go and steal money from. Nowhere in the Baltic is particularly worth doing. As we see all the little torches everywhere, we could maybe go... It's not particularly worth it. We could go over here. No, it's all down here. So because we're Vikings, we can go upriver. But it doesn't particularly look like... Yeah, everywhere's been raided. Okay, so another choice I quite like raiding is Devon and South Wales. These are all quite small, so everyone here doesn't really have enough troops to be a problem. So Cornwall, he's got 800 troops. We're going in with our 1700, including heavy infantry, and we're just going to completely stomp him flat. Okay, so we've caught him. How much gold does he have? 107. We're going to ransom him for 100 gold. That's nice. And we're then going to continue ransacking his land. One of the annoying things about raiding is whilst this bar is filling up, we can't actually move off the county or the holding. That does mean that for raiding a larger area, so for example if we go toward with Wessex, still doesn't have enough troops to be a problem. Jorvik. If we were to go and raid Jorvik, he could raise all his troops before I could raise mine and get them out of there. He would then stomp me and steal all my money. This is not ideal. Okay, so carded. Going to go raid South Wales, steal all their money, make it a problem for them to deal with. We're going to put ourselves back leading the charge. So, because we're leading and they have a higher development, we've got 3 options here for fire and blood. We can capture skilled slaves, which will decrease their development, but increase my development. Development is your tech progress, I guess, is the best way of putting it. But on a social level, rather than actually technology, as you get higher and higher development, you get higher taxes, you get higher bonuses, you research quicker through the innovations system. But because we're not going to be holding Sigtuna for much longer, we just want the plunder. So we're going to add 30 loot and gain 75 prestige. The development decreases here, but that's not a problem. It's not our land, we don't care what happens here. So with the raiding army, if we have a look around Wales, we can see we've got Aberhonddu for 20 gold, Caerphilly for 6, Cartharden for 4, Aberteifi for 20, Harlech for 17, Shrewsbury for 17, Clun for 9, Landrydod for 4, Maffethral for 4, Denbigh for 4, Teggingle for 0. I'm sure there's been times I've played before where I've gone into the middle of Wales and someone's got like 50 gold, maybe not 50, but a chunk of gold that would have made it worth raiding Wales properly. But that might just have been a dream because it doesn't seem to be that way now. Okay, let's send everyone back home with all the gold. We're going on full speed. Okay, we've gained a level of fame. So level of fame, this is seeing with the prestige. Each prestige you gain also gains you fame. As your prestige increases, so does your level of fame increase, and as your level of fame increases, this unlocks new abilities on how you can declare war. Certain wars are only for people who are famous enough, even though they cost prestige. If you don't have it quite enough level of fame, if you don't have quite enough prestige, you'll lose a level of fame. Similarly for piety, you gain level of devotion. Both of these increase how much people like you, increasing your level of fame. If we have a look here, no, I'm still not on the right one. I'm not quite well like, here we go. If we have a look here in the breakdown of his opinion, down here we've got illustrious plus 5. Illustrious is the 4th level of fame. So once we hit exalted among men will mean we get a further plus 5. It makes all our vassals like us more, which is a good thing. It's a lot harder to play the game. We're not ransoming him for 16 gold. It's a lot harder to play the game when everyone under you hates you. Titles can be created, so we're going to create the Duchy of Visby. We're then going to make that our primary title. And we're going to move our capital to Visby. You can only do this once per lifetime. We're now all set up. We have unlocked our first legacy to give us bonus troops above the adventure cap, above the cap when adventuring. We have enough prestige that we can declare a Varangian adventure, and we're ready to set up our son as a new independent ruler. So a Varangian adventure, you can declare against anyone within range. I think you have a slightly wider range than a normal war. We're going to declare war. Going for Wessex, that's fine. You declare war, we're going to Varangian adventure. We could conquer, we could invade, we could conquer county. So you see here, the Kingdom of England, we need to have an exalted among men level of fame. That son you love so much. My son, Eric. Look, he really likes me. He's got a plus 100 of me. That means he really, really likes me, even though I'm insane. And I really like... No, that's my opinion of him as well. Do I have... I'm not sure there's a way I can see my opinion of him. See, I'm quite nice. Like, all my family actually like me. I just, you know, don't particularly care about them. So we're going to declare war against Alfred's son, Ethelwulf's son. We're going to Varangian Adventure. We want London. Now, London is part of the East Seeks county. I also really like the coat of arms for the duchy. This costs 1,000 prestige, which is why we've been farming it through the early game. So, as part of this, Jarldom of Visby is destroyed, Jarldom of Uppland is destroyed, landed family will receive conquered counties, all old held titles will be destroyed or given independence, all old landed family titles will be destroyed or given independence, all old vassals will be given independence. Control in the conquered counties will be boosted. I gain 300 gold, I gain adventure, I gain fame, I gain prestige. Now, this is not entirely true, and this is something I found out through some messing around as Hastings. All old landed family titles, this only counts your vassal dynasty. So we're going to declare war. We gain bonus 2,000 men, 1,000 men. The 2,000 men is because we have a Varangian Adventure and we hold 10 counties within Scandinavia. The 1,000 men is because of that first dynastic legacy perk. We're then going to get my son, who I love so very much, and we're going to grant titles. We're going to grant him Uppland, and Södermanland. This will make him independent, but it's okay. He's attacking Finland by himself. I'm going to assign a chancellor. You can do it. And we're then going to raise all my armies. I'm going to let that tick up. So we have about 4,000 men. Now, when I said earlier about the movement speed, this is where that comes in useful. Whilst it won't impact our ability to sail quicker, it will mean we can chase down troops quicker on land. So once we get over here, having sped up just a little bit because sailing is boring. Oh, okay, something happened. Leviathan. It behooves a Jarl to spend time at sea, with the salty air in his face and a fine vessel beneath his feet. Today sees my personal craft and a small escorting squadron out for drills, practice and pleasure. The short voyage has been an exhilarating change of pace from life at court when we spotted a distant plume of water, followed by a small island of wine-dark flesh rolling out of the waves. The greatest beast of the depths, a whale. So we've got 4 options here, and as we mentioned earlier, we can see here we've got a little icon next to an option. That means it's specialised for us. So we can get the harpoons, a 71% chance of gaining 100 gold, a 29% chance of spending 75 prestige, but we also lose 72 stress because we are brave. We can let the others handle it, just bring with a carcass for 50 gold. What a grand quarry. Because we are brave, I lose 72 stress, and I get a prowess challenge against the whale. 50% chance of 300 gold, 50% chance of becoming wounded and spending 75 prestige, or I can leave it. Well, I'm brave, so I'm not going to be doing that. I am a hunter, and one of the great things I love about Crusader Kings 3 is going through playing role-playing just that little bit, which we get the bonuses for. So let's see. Oh, okay, no, I'm injured. That was not a good idea. Let's hope I don't die. Okay, we'll unpause and we'll continue on, having been beaten up by a whale, to go and conquer London. When we're sieging, you can only siege areas that have a garrison. For the most part, in the early game, this is going to be the county capital, which will be a castle. There's a few theocracies and a few republics here and there, but not very many of them. There you go, I'm not wounded anymore. We're going to stick the siege engineer on. This will make the siege slightly quicker, which is good because we're trying to conquer the duchy. Okay, so we now control one, and we have got Alfric. Let's go and get London. Whilst we're here, available perk. We can have a reduced chance of contracting illnesses. We can take the embrace celibacy and abandon celibacy decisions, or we can get less stress. I'm going to be honest, we probably want to start washing our hands. We're trying to survive for another 22 years. Oh, hello. You're pretty and smart. So the reason we're taking concubines at this point is because we need extra kids. My son is, as we've discovered, I love him very, very much, which is good because he's not got much else going for him. And my daughter has married to the King of Russia, who doesn't like me and will refuse an alliance with me for whatever reason. That's fine, I'm still going to be getting some renown because she's married to him, but I won't hold the title. My son dislikes me for some reason. I am not the man he thought I was. A son only a Bloodeagle could love. Look, I can't Bloodeagle my son. For one thing, he's independent. I'd have to go and capture him and then murder him, and I don't actually have the sadistic trait. Sadistic is one of those ones that you really think you might hate because it's going to ruin everything. People dislike it, except it lets you kill your kids. That's actually really, really useful because it means you can get rid of my son doesn't like me, I wonder why. Yeah, so look, I'm not saying I would kill all my children, but sadistic is really useful because a lot of the time your children are terrible and you just need to get rid of them. Partition is rubbish. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit more advanced here, you know, whole level 1 play. We're going to station besiegers. This will leave a small army here to starve out the fortress, and we can set our speedy man to go and chase them down, and to leave our siege man in charge. This is the bit I hate about the wars. It's got to do a lot of micromanaging to chase people down. Yeah, look, I don't hate my son. He's just not as good as he could be. I'm sure I can get a better one. Let's have a look. So we're going to get Berkhamsted as well. Consolidate people. What option here? Call hunt. So we're going to leave that a few minutes. Consolidate you. We're going to just siege down this last holding here. Yeah, okay, look, I did say this will make you feel like the Lannisters kind of had a point. Your children are stupid. Like, look, so we've got my player heir, my son. Let's have a look at his firstborn son. He's married her off to some random, his own vassal, for whatever reason. That's a rubbish alliance. Why would you do that? He's being educated. Okay, yeah, he's being educated to be stabby, but not by someone else who's very stabby. And they've chosen to make him honest, zealous, and arbitrary. That's oh, and paranoid. Oh, he's a wonderful person. Honest, zealous, arbitrary, and paranoid. Everyone's going to love him when he's in charge. There we go. We've got 100%. Okay, so when we finish the war against the petty kingdom of Wick, oh dear, he's not doing very well. We're going to ransom off everyone we can first. So we're going to go into our prisoners. Can we ransom you? A weak hook. Nah, it's alright. Can we ransom you? 10 gold. Can we ransom you? No. It annoys me that this option here, so Guamgathelon, we can ransom her for a weak hook on her. That would be great if she was important. She's lowborn. She doesn't have any family. She's just sprung wholesale out of a sea foam. Earl, 50. Earl, 50. Reeve, 30. Earl, oh, he doesn't. He's already considering a proposal. How much can we... A petty... Oh, a favour on you. Why will you not give me any money? Oh, because you've not got any money. Nah, I'm alright, I'll keep him. We will then enforce demands. So this is what I really like about the Varangian adventure. We have completely left all my lands behind. Everyone else has got freedom. Apart from my son, who's doing quite well for himself. He's already attacking France. Not France. Scotland. It'd help if I could read, wouldn't it? So we've got Essex. Got the Earldom of Essex holding Buckingham, Berkhamsted, London and Colchester. Now we hold 4 out of 3 domain holdings. This is a problem because holding too many means vassals like us less, we get less levies, we get less taxes. Thankfully, our wife is quite smart. So we're going to she's going to help us manage the domain. This will give us a bonus +6. Not being able to read never stopped Ulfric. Well, yeah, that is true. Ulfric managed to get very far in life without stopping, without being able to read, but he thought he could, and that meant a lot. But this +6, we get half of her skill? Half of her skill. So Ulfric was a character in an old Exalted 2nd edition game. Someone is raiding me, I don't want that. Who put all his points into being strong and tough and hitting people in the face. Okay, so we hold all the land we need to. We're going to go into the Earldom of Essex. Because we are a Viking, we're going to add Scandinavian Elective. Scandinavian Elective is a brilliant workaround for any inheritance problems. Scandinavian Elective means that, much like the Thing in historical Scandinavia, all of the vassals of that title get to vote. Now, I don't have any vassals, which means I get to give everything to whoever I want, which is really nice. So let me seduce. No, she's not going to be happy if I seduce her. So, because we're insane, we will at some point get the ability to build a glass garden. London has a special building slot, so we're not going to move to London until we've built one in Buckingham. We're not going to nominate a successor because I don't have any children other than my firstborn son. Hopefully one of these women will be able to give me a child at some point. So we're going to seduce for one who likes me. Hope the others come to like me over time. And we're then going to fill up my council. Oh wow, we've got useful vassals. There's 2 things you can do when picking your council. So the first option is to just pick the highest statted. So we want the highest diplomacy character to be my chancellor. We want the highest stewardship character to be my steward. We want the highest marshal character to be my marshal, despite them being spelt differently. And we want the highest intrigue character to be my spymaster. Or we can give them to powerful vassals, indicated with a angry fist. They will be upset if they're not on the council. Now, if we have a look at Mayor Ulfkel, he actually has quite a good diplomacy, quite a good marshal, and a relatively good learning. So we're going to put him as our chancellor. We're also going to then have a look. We're going to put Hjalmar, a champion, as our marshal, and we're going to leave him to increase control. Control is a 0 to 100 scale. As it increases, you get more levies and more tax. However, The peasants don't like it, and they will eventually become more revolting and try and fight you. They will very rarely succeed unless you are already in another battle. Don't forget to go back and stomp the peasants, because it's really, really annoying when they win. We're going to add a steward. The best steward we've got is also a powerful vassal, which is really good. And our spy master, we're going to put a... Oh, he doesn't like me. Let's give him some money, so he does like me. We really, really don't want our spy master to hate us. If your spy master hates you, they will try and kill you. For obvious reasons, that's less than ideal. Everyone else, really doesn't matter if they hate you. You can deal with that. They don't get any bonuses to trying to hurt you. Now that we've got them set up, what we're going to do is we're going to set our Hofgodi. Do we have anyone better? We don't. We're going to set him to try and convert Middlesex. It's going to take 17 years. And we're going to set our steward to try and convert the culture of Middlesex. Hopefully that means Middlesex will stop rising in revolt against us. Go away. Okay. We see, you see my monthly income is much decreased. That's because I now have to pay these guys. For some reason they want money rather than just being told stories of in the pub now that we have a castle. I guess it's kind of fair enough. And do we have a good champion to recruit? Nah, we're alright. And do any... Can I make you... Okay, we're going to stop seducing our other wife. We're going to try and make this one like us, because she can be a really good doctor. Because she's got Wise Woman, that gives a bonus to her learning. It also means she will occasionally do mystical challenges. So rather than trying to cut out the cancer, she will make us drink goat piss. Surprisingly, this actually works sometimes. We come and call a hunt. We'll let that happen. So we can gain prestige, or we can lose prestige and become stressed. Which option do you think we're going to pick? Obviously, we're going to leave. We're going to go for the bonus prestige. So we're chasing a hare. The world narrows as to the nature surrounding us as we follow the hare on its escape through a ravine. Riding side by side with Raffen, I can hear the thunder of hooves, dogs barking, men shouting. Excitement flows through me as we slowly gain on our quarry. This sounds like someone's going to try and kill me. Always bet on piss. I wouldn't say always. I know it is a killing shot before the arrow even finds its target. As the hare stumbles and falls, we drown out its wails with shouts of victory. That seems like a very, very loud rabbit. Mystical healing is one of those wacky ones. Sometimes it works really, really well. Sometimes it doesn't work at all for a very strange reason, and we return home for an extra 150. Sometimes it makes things worse. So we can now also... Where's it gone? Can I not do it anymore? Determine personal deity. So determining personal deity gives us some bonuses. Oh, good. My concubine doesn't like me, she's got a child. So... we've got options here. We can become a devotee of Odin, which gives us bonus to intrigue, so it makes us less likely to be murdered, and bonus piety per dread. We can gain devotee of Ulla for +3 martial, +50% speed in winter, and +2 advantage in winter. Advantage is rubbish. It's just each point of advantage is 2% bonus damage, so that's 4 bonus damage, which, given that we have heavy infantry, isn't much. 4 gives us +2 stewardship and +3 prowess. Generally speaking, I will tend to become a devotee of Thor quite early on and then stick with it. Or we can become devotee of Freya. That will give us +25 fertility and +0.1 growth to control per month. Given we have just conquered Anglo-Saxon Catholics who hate us, bonus to control growth means that all of these will slowly start ticking upwards. Subsequently, I'll tend to pick Thor because it will allow me to control more and fight more by myself. Excuse me. But we want the extra kids as well. Whilst I've got one child on the way through a concubine, heir and a spare is always a good plan. So we're going to let that go forward. Host a feast. Now the other thing we want to do, now we've got a chunk of gold, is build. So one of the important things is the terrain. If we have a look here, there's all sorts of different terrain. Red is really, really good. Red is farmlands. Double the children for double the love. Yeah, it's definitely what I'm going for, is extra children for extra love. Farmlands is a bonus to your development growth, which is really good because you want to be that high development. It gives you a bonus to your science, but also in farmlands you can build a manor house. Manor houses are only buildable in farmland, and over time, whilst they give you more tax, they also give a county-wide bonus to development growth. Given that London has 5 slots, I can put 5 sets of manor houses to get, at level 3, a further 10% development growth across the entire county. On top of the farmland bonus giving a plus 20%, I'll get a bonus 30% development growth. There's going to be all sorts of other things adding to this to make it more useful, which is going to eventually make London a shining jewel in our crown. So we've got the terrain, we've got development. Just to give you a quick overview, you can see already Middlesex is a bit more developed because it's more yellow. Ireland is a bit more purple, so because it's a bit further behind. If we have a look up in Scandinavia, Scandinavia is really not doing well. And then we've got the sort of centres of the world. We've got Paris, we've got Corboda, we've got Rome, and we've got Byzantium. We then have Cairo is really good, and then if we go further east, Baghdad is amazingly powerful, and then India. India is full of really smart people. I've never yet played in India. I'm hoping we get a DLC at some point, because currently it plays exactly the same as Western Europe. I know that towards the end of CK2 they had DLC for everywhere on the map. We had multiple different playstyles for everywhere, which made everything play differently, which would be really nice. I'd love to explore India. You get all the different kingdoms, so you can set lots of them. There's loads of decisions unique to India as well. You can combine Rajasthan, the Bengal Empire, and the Deccan Empire. If you control all of them and hold them, you can take a decision which allows you to combine them all into a modern-day Indian empire, which makes you much more powerful, especially with the recent changes in the Azure patch that make your vassals hate you all the time if they're not your de jure vassals. De jure being half of ownership, meaning legally they belong to you, as opposed to de facto, where they actually belong to you. So we're going to let this trundle on. We've got our feast, a cheery gathering. The guests are gathered in the great hall, lords and ladies from near and far reaches of the realm. The mood is bright and spirits are high as the feast begins. And to welcome our friends. One thing with feast events is they are completely divorced from each other. Oh no, disaster strikes. The wine. We cracked open the next barrel and it's gone bad. It's all gone bad. The feast is still raging, but without drink the mood is sure to dwindle at a cruel pace. The wine merchant should still be in town, costing 50 gold. Everyone will like me more, and we get fought first to give us bonus prestige per month. Or we all have to pitch in. I gained some gold. Apparently I am a complete miser when it comes to buying gold, and spend 75 prestige. No one wants to come to my parties anymore. I am a generous liege. I will fund the gold. I will fund for wine. 50 gold, though. You think I'm building a set of manor houses? Oh, Sigrid, my concubine is here. It became an exceptional evening thanks to her presence. We spoke all evening about all manners of subjects, and as such, as things would have it, we seem to have a lot in common. I had a good time. Well, that's nice. So, as the feast is underway and our guests are eating and drinking merrily, Queen Ingrid approaches Ileana and me at the great table. Who is Queen Ingrid? My daughter. Okay. This is a marvellous feast. All my compliments to the hosts. Yes, I have done a great job for 150 prestige, or Ileana deserves all the credit for household efforts, which gives all my vassals like me more. You know what? I'm going to go with that. We're going to let my wife like me. We're going to be nice. Oh, she's doing quite well. She's got one kid on the way. She's got one kid already, another one on the way. That's good. We're going to rule some area. So, as the feast finishes, I have my wife to thank for much of its success, and I feel nothing but gratitude. I gain 150 prestige, I gain the trait Eagle Reveller, all my guests gain 20 opinion of me, and the feast ends. Eager Reveller gives me plus 2 diplomacy, plus 1 intrigue, and plus 10 for other revelers. The lifestyle traits are really good. I really enjoy them. They also have thematic bonuses and malices. As a reveller, I can now no longer become celibate if I wanted to. I just have to deal with the fact that I enjoy partying too much to stop having sex. As if you become a doctor with it, you get further bonuses to your own medicine. And as a blade master, you get to fight people more. That's obviously what people who are good at swords do, fight everyone all the time. And here we have our first faction rising. The peasants of Essex and the peasants of Hertfordshire. They've only got 25% of my military. It's not really a problem. We can crush them. Oh, Sigrid, you have been so brave, so strong. Words cannot describe my love for you, and now we have a perfect little son. That's it. Who will you become, my child, and what shall I call you? May you grow to be strong and wise, my son. Okay. So, we have my son, who is not my firstborn. So we are now going to nominate him as my heir. Because I control all the counties within the duchy that I own, I get to do all the voting. No one else gets anything else. If we have a look at the succession, we're going to still lose some of it to my other son, who I've already given land to. This is because we're stuck in Confederate partition. Confederate partition is terrible. It will create new titles if it can, regardless of the cost, and then divvy them out amongst all eligible children. Eligibility is defined by your culture and by your religion. As an Asatru, which would be a Norse pagan, I have male-dominated. That means that females can inherit, but only when I don't have any male children. Similarly, Catholicism is male-dominated. If we go here to... Yeah, if we go to look at some of the African faiths, so Arisen is equal, which means both children will inherit. This is actually a problem early game because it means each of your children will get land, whereas I don't have to worry about giving my daughter land. Because she's my daughter, she apparently isn't eligible to inherit unless both my sons die. The problem is that because I have land within this duchy and nothing outside of it, all the inheritance is getting split up. What we need is a second duchy. So this guy is defending against Jarl Svenka Teiksson of the Norsemen army in the Norsemen army conquest of the Duchy of Munster. I mean, that would maybe be a problem, except I'm going to declare war against Petty Kingdom. I'm going to conquer it. Now, a conquer is a slightly different one from the Varangian Adventure. I will seize the territory. but it doesn't all get granted directly to me. I only get his title, so we raise my soldiers and we march them on over. We already have a 50% war score because we hold his son from last time we went raiding, which is nice. It means the war will be over that little bit quicker. Annoyingly, it means that we will release him at the end of the war. But given that the guy's going to be penniless, it doesn't matter. So, we're going to enforce demands. So, hostages taken by all war participants will be released. This goes both ways. So, we release anyone we've taken, he releases anyone he's taken, but I stormed his castle, he doesn't have anyone. I gain 150 fame, my allies gain 150 prestige. That's nice. So, this guy... So he is... You've come out of nowhere. So, now we... Just go... 250 gold. Anyone we can ransom. So what we need to do to avoid the realm, or my single county, or my single duchy splitting, none of them can be ransomed. Let's kill all of them. Because none of them, or because I only hold the one duchy title, it's going to be a pain to split. So what we're going to do is we're going to raise everyone. For some reason, whilst I get these troops here, these Viking adventurers, whilst I can raise them and then set them to raid, I can't raise them as raiders. This is a little bit of a pain to deal with, but it's not a major problem. It's just something I have to live with. We've unlocked another perk, so we're going to go for disease resistance fertility, plus 30%, and disease resistance health, massive boost. Hopefully this will let us live the next 19 years, so we can unlock what we need to. These guys are raiding. We're going to go raid Dover. Oh, excellent. I sip at my mug of spiced wine, eyes scanning over my latest scrawled work. My intimate passion. I wonder what secrets her mask protects, what hidden wonders, what cloaked subjects. The mere thought of her smile brings one to my face, all worries, woes and anguish gone without trace. Truly, I am one of the great artistic minds of my age. So my options here are a fine verse, what shall I muse on next, which gives me a poet trait. Poet will give me, let me load that up, +1 diplomacy per level of fame, plus 10% stress loss. Because it's a virtue to Assat Ruins, it gives me +1 piety a month and all Assat plus 10. Or I can become a journaler. A journaler gives me +1 learning and plus 20% stress loss. Or I can have a bath and lose 11 stress. I'm going to become a poet. So we've got our raiders. We're going to have me leading as the warrior poet king that I apparently now am. And he's refusing to raid. I probably have a peace treaty with him. Okay, let's see who else can we raid. Is Ireland... Ireland isn't burnt to the ground. Let's go and burn Ireland to the ground. Raiding is annoying. It means... stopping raiding is annoying. It means we get the peace treaty. Let's see. Does this guy have a peace treaty with me? It's the only reason I can think of I can't raid him. Okay, lots of people are Varangian adventuring for England. It's a pain with everyone doing a Varangian adventure for England. It means that it's going to be harder for me to take it all myself, although we are a way off from that. Potentially I can vassalize them. Here we go, going to raid. We're going to raid trade here as well. We're just going to go up and down the coast of Ireland, murdering people, stealing all their gold, and then ransoming their children back to them if they care for them. It is actually quite nice. I like that the traits impact how willing someone is. Oh, fire and blood. No, we want loot. Thank you very much. If someone is sadistic, they will generally not ransom their children back as willingly. So this guy is greedy, compassionate and zealous. He's asked to ransom his son back before he's asked to ransom himself. So this is just sort of a nice way that they've got of ordering it based on hidden traits. We have no way of seeing them without going into developer mode, which is incompatible with Iron Man, which is fair enough because it would be a great way of cheesing. Uh-oh. Why are you unhappy with me? Oh, you're a Viking. I should have realised. I'm about to get stomped. Let's switch out for Speedy Guy. Nope. Nope. Oh, might we win? I shouldn't have swapped him out. Okay, who are we going to recruit for our Spy Master? We're going to actually recruit... We're going to pay to recruit someone rather than having a powerful vassal do it. We're going to switch in a powerful vassal here. Yeah, we're going to lose that fight and lose all the money. That's a shame. I should probably check that they're not Vikings before trying to raid them. Tick off always raid because we don't want to raid my brother. Staring at stars. From all my evenings watching stars, I have seen with my own eyes what I've only heard of before. Stars move at different speeds and reverse their course at different times, but seemingly in large groups, depending on which celestial sphere they belong to. Indeed, with the right calculations, one could even predict their movement. My Hofgodi does not approve, of course. Leave the skies be. The celestial realm is for the elders to know. So I can find my answers in the heavens, which will give me 50 learning lifestyle experience. Insight into the heavens, which gives me a bonus to stewardship, learning and prestige for 10 years, but it may lead to me becoming a cynic. Or I could focus on earthly matters, which gets 25 learning experience, 250 piety, and earthly focus giving me a bonus to piety and clergy opinion. Yeah, I'd rather have the learning. Oh, you dislike me. Well, we're going to put someone else there instead who does like me. It's all well and good for the Catholics to get upset when you start looking at the sky, but as an Asatruan, I can choose who I want to be my vicar without any problem at all. Why are you not raiding? Oh, always raid. I can choose who I want to be my vicar freely, so if I piss them off I can just piss someone who likes me. So it's kind of an empty threat. I can kind of see why the Church of England was formed. Oh, my concubine is pregnant again. Need to switch out for me again. Ah. I can ransom some dude. Cool. Okay, so we've now got the 250 gold, which is what we were raiding for, so I can now create the Duchy of Cornwall. This is a second duchy title, which is great. It now means if we have a look, my succession, I'm going to lose the Earldom of Cornwall and the Jarldom of Cornwall to my firstborn son. So what we're going to do is... Where's he gone? So I'm just going to grant this to you'll do. And is he still up? Earldom of Devon. I don't have Devon, do I? Oh. Exeter. Exeter is Earldom of Devon. Grant to champion. So I now hold no land here. I only hold the duchy. And when I die, my son becomes the Duke of that area instead. But I retain the entirety of Essex, which is ideal. We want to retain our core duchy because it means we can get it significantly better. We're now going to send our raiders over to raid Wales. 21 in Penfro. And we're then going to work our way along the South Welsh coast. Jarl Hastin of Mercia. The latest work of my friend, another poet, has become all the rage at court of late. The piece deals with memory and what we leave behind, and he has dedicated it to me, the legacy of a Jarl. Men need not fear as lives depart, crossing to quiet death with noble heart, and hope only for memory's grace that their history finds true place. So far I've kept my thoughts to myself, but the buzz has grown too dramatic to ignore for much longer. I mean, I quite like it. Anyone else have any thoughts? Do we like his poem? Do we not know how we feel about his poem, or do we feel it's truly heartfelt? I don't know how I feel about this. Gives a chance of gaining opinion of him, but also a chance of mocking him. If we say it's truly heartfelt, we gain opinion of him no matter what. It does rhyme. You're right. It reminds me of the poem I wrote when I got the poet trait. So we're going to... I can see it's truly heartfelt. Hastin is one of the bonus characters put in. So every character has a hidden health trait. Hastin's is boosted by something like +3 to begin with. So he's got cancer and he's feeling fine. I have medicine focus and iron constitution and lunatic, and I'm feeling fine. So he's doing really well. He also starts with a stupid amount of prestige and gold, and can be used for any sort of conquest anywhere. I did a run starting as Hastin. He starts here, where I went and conquered some of Egypt, and then some of Arabia, and then went and just decided I'd go and live in India instead. It's just quite a way, to be honest, for one dude to go in his life and conquer. You can pull all sorts of strats with him. He was very popular in CK2, so they gave him a little bit of a boost in CK3 just to put it in as a little sneaky bonus for us, which was always appreciated. There is also sneaky bonus characters for a lot of the devs. They have their own designed characters. Oh, let's see, wait, how much? We're not going to raid him, he's got too many people. You, on the other hand, we're going... He's not my son. I keep getting confused because he's got the same name. See, I'm remembering my son's name now. I'm doing better. Let's go for Abahondu. Ingvar. We're going to educate him myself. We're going to go and steal some money from the centre of Wales, and he becomes charming. That's nice. So charming gets a bonus to diplomacy and intrigue, but a penalty to stewardship. It's also neutral to martial and to learning. There's one of these for each of the 5 traits. It only works as an antagonistic arrow like this. There's none where it would be, for example, martial or learning and a malice to stewardship. At least so far. It doesn't mean they won't do one in the future. Now, the problem is we do want to keep him on the stewardship, because stewardship gives us a bonus to gold, to the size of our realm. And I've got a daughter, a pretty daughter. So she's comely, which gives her a bonus to diplomacy, fertility, and attraction. This then has a second level one, which is pretty, or handsome for males, and then for a third level, I believe it's beautiful. which gives +3 diplomacy, +30% fertility, +30 attraction opinion. You do find a lot of the time, once you're semi-stable, you can start breeding for traits within your dynasty. You start marrying cousins to pretty or intelligent low-born people, rather than marrying for any alliances, which is generally the way you should be aiming to play the early game. We're going to go back to London. Who's raiding? My brother is raiding me. That is really not very nice of him. So we're going to negotiate an alliance with my brother. Let's see if we can negotiate an alliance with you. Hopefully they will then stop raiding me. There we go. He's going to stop raiding me because he now isn't allowed to. The alliance means I can call on him to war, although it is perhaps not massively likely. But I will do so. It costs prestige to call an ally to war. And we can commission Epic again. So we're going to do this. So again, we've got a choice of an accomplished storyteller, best scribes, a lowly scribe, or on second thought. Again, we're aiming to, within our house, we're aiming to get to 750 renown. Currently we're getting plus 1.3 a month. That seems to have decreased. I'll need to check on that in a minute. So we obviously want to go for the accomplished storyteller. So why are we only getting 1.3? Let's have a look in how it breaks down. 2 dukes. Oh my daughter's first husband has died, and she's now no longer married to a king. That's a shame. Do you want to come to... I could make her divorce someone, but that doesn't seem like the best idea. He's got loads of kids. Are you going to marry any of them? Who have you married? So we now need more money again. We're still in the hole, and more so. So let's go back and check on our council. We're going to set our marshal to organise our levies to try and replenish these a little bit quicker. Again, we're going to focus on our family history because we want the extra renown rather than the extra prestige or extra piety. Prestige and piety are useful, but the renown is what we're gunning for because that means we can actually get the legacies. Raise all armies, let them raise. Okay, and we're going to switch them to raiders, and we're going to put me in charge. Brittany is now held by a Norseman as well. That's great. We don't. France doesn't seem to be doing well. Oh, good. Bad defense. So one of the things you can do as Norse is if you take the Duchy of Neustria, you can resettle it as Norman. Unfortunately, you can only do this once, and it looks like that might happen. Potentially, we're going to then need to immediately declare war on this dude once he's taken the Duchy of Neustria to take it ourselves and become Norman. But we don't want to become Norman until we've unlocked both Norse legacies, because you can't do that as Norman for whatever reason. So look, who else can we raid? The Umayyads. How likely are we to kill you? We're not. Okay. So how many? You don't have many. So we're going to go and start raiding the coast of Aquitaine. This isn't massively wealthy, but we can raid up the river to get a few places. Yeah, we'll go up here and raid down this way. Okay, pride of the family for the family epic. My spy master seems to be the latest person to have listened to excerpts. Your great-great-grandfather was a fascinating and resourceful figure, he tells me. If we let it be known you were even half as underhanded as he, people would think twice before acting against you. The blood of that snake is flowing in my veins. I gain 10 dread, I gain stories of intrigue, which gives me hostile scheme resistance +5, and I gain 300 intrigue lifestyle. 300 intrigue lifestyle is good, because it's lifestyle points. We always like lifestyle points, but it's not as useful as it might seem, because it's not 500. We need 500 to be able to do anything with it. So getting the 500 is not necessarily something we can do without switching to it. Or we claim he was honourable and upstanding for 150 prestige. So we're going to go with that. It nearly puts us to Exalted Among Men. We're still... Let's have a look. Where are we for Exalted Among Men? We need another 7,500 fame prestige to get to Exalted Among Men. We might do it in our lifetime. We might not. And then we also have the pop-up here, Dangerous Faction. So these guys want to start a faction against us because they're peasants and they don't understand how to do things. They think they would be better at ruling than I would. We're going to let them continue to think that until we come back and stomp them. So, do we want the epic sooner, but rubbish, or do we want to pay more and become impatient? We've got 0 stress right now. Taking the 76 stress will put us up to 76 out of the maximum to kill us, but it doesn't hit 100, so it's not a problem. We can deal with it. Sigrid, my concubine, likes me. Demand conversion. There we go. She is now going to become a pagan because she really likes me. Isn't that nice? Okay, so family epic, inspiration strikes. Barda has taken a number of liberties in my family epic in regards to warfare and battle. It makes for dramatic scenes, but I worry my marshal has been offended as he furrows his brow at a particular scene. I am almost relieved when he finally shares his thoughts. It's all nonsense, but this part with the hermit's guidance has given me some ideas. So wherever inspiration can be found, we should use it. I can gain storied innovation, giving me +10 advantage for 10 years. So that's +20% damage in every fight I do. Or explain it to me in detail to gain 500 martial lifestyle experience. Now, that actually would unlock a perk. No, it wouldn't. I need 1,000. I'm getting confused. No, so 500. That's terrible. We don't want that. Storied innovation was +20% damage. Thank you very much. Okay, let's continue with our raiding. We're going for Toulouse because that's 23 gold. That's a nice chunk. And we commissioned an excellent family epic. 75 prestige, 75 renown. And a new lifestyle perk. So we're going to pick Carefree. This gives us stress gain -20%. We're much less likely to get stress. We gain less stress from everything, which is really helpful. Even if it doesn't sort of long term make things better, it will in the short term keep things suitable. But the stress gain being lower on every event has such a much better effect, because when you get stressed, you get the option to become 2 bad things. So you can, for example, become a flagellant, or you can become a profligate. So you can start beating yourself, or you can start giving away your money. Neither of those are good. If you choose to be neither, no worries. Catch you next time, Scorpioelda. Neither of those things are good. You don't want either of them. So you pick, I don't want either of these. You gain 40 stress from just not picking a coping mechanism. Having the -20% makes that slightly easier to handle, which is always good. So, a work completed. Barda has spent time at my court, and how well he's gotten to know me. It feels strange he is about to depart. Oh, he can become my friend and stay or go. There is no reason for him to go. Okay, so we've run out of steward again. We need to pick a new one. We're going to, again, pick someone with high stewardship. Thankfully, the highest stewardship is on my angry vassal, so we're going to pick him. We don't have a high intrigue vassal, which is a shame because we could then put them as the oh wow, okay, as the spy master, but I'm not willing to put someone with 3 or 5 intrigue there. We're also going to, okay, we can't, oh, because he's got a hook on me, right. You can become my court physician. I'm missing the gold. Cool. I will completely forget to give my new friend physicianship. Okay, so Fire and Blood, Settlement of Toulouse, important stronghold in Greater Toulouse has fallen to my raiders. So because I'm leading it, we get the Fire and Blood. Now, I'm settled where I'm planning on being for quite a while, so even though bounteous plunder gives me the loot and prestige, capturing skilled slaves will boost my development, which means over time I will gain better tech, so we're going for that. We're then going to bravely run away, because we've got 37 gold. By the time we get back, the peasants are revolting. So the peasants here have declared war because I've lost troops due to spending them over here. They're doing a peasant uprising. For some reason they think this many troops is going to be sufficient. So my options here are to surrender immediately. All the counties lose 75 control and will gain increased autonomy. So they get lower control growth and they get a higher popular opinion of me. That would be good, maybe, if I wanted to do anything with it. I can white peace, where they're destroyed, or I can enforce demands, at which point I get plus 50 local opinion, and I imprison this guy. Peasant revolt leaders actually make good generals. You can recruit them. They'll hate you, but that doesn't matter because you just throw them into the meat grinder of war. I sound like an awful person. I really do. I suppose Scorpio was right talking about how you really shouldn't listen to me when I'm talking about this. Ah, a daughter. Oh, wow. Wow, smart and pretty. Ah, my son has replaced me as head of the dynasty. That's a shame. But it's not going to last for long. Right, come on, let's go and murder the peasants. So the dynasty head is granted to whoever has the most troops. Given that I am currently fighting a war against peasants. Okay, so a creeping suspicion. My beguiling concubine, Giselle, is up to something. I know it. Why else would she skulk about like so, giving me those odd looks? And my things are not where I left them. Has she been in my chambers? She smiles so sweetly, but I know what lurks beneath. So she's insane, she's Catholic, and she's given me no children. So I can ask her to tell me the truth, which will cause me to gain 30 stress. I can get my friend Hastine of Mercia to do it, where he will do an intrigue challenge against her, or I can think I'm being paranoid. Honest and paranoid is... because I'm lunatic. Honest is a terrible, terrible trait to have. But I'm going to ask my good friend Hastine to help me deal with this. And I don't want to do anything to deal with my stress. She's taken a lover. How dare she? Let's have a look who is in my prison. Can I ransom him? So Leofhe of Somerset, we're going to negotiate release, demand conversion, gain weak hook, and recruit. So he really, really hates me, but he works for me now, so that's fine. I'm going to ransom Countess Vigdis back to Count Ingolfer of Hymene. And my ex-concubine, we're going to execute her. Because I am playing in a Sartru, and therefore have the blood sacrifice ability as part of my religion, I gain dread, which means people fear me. I'll go to 67 dread out of 100. And I gain 250 piety, which is nice. It means that killing people is a pious thing to do. I've gained a level of devotion, so people will now like me even more. That's really good. Okay, we need to leave it. I'm going to stop letting our men-at-arms reinforce because we need to get a bit of gold. And now that's come through, we're going to let them reinforce. We're going to go to a chunk less per month. And I'm back as the dynasty head. As I step over the threshold to my concubine Sigrid's office, I find her bent deeply over a book. This translation of Galen is atrocious, she says with a sigh. If I were to follow these instructions, I'm as likely to cure my patients as I am to kill them outright. So let me have a look. I help her translate the text. She increases her learning by 2. I gain 300 learning lifestyle experience, or a 66% chance I make a fool of myself, and she is disappointed in me. I can buy a better translation. She will gain the trait physician. I will gain 50 lifestyle experience and learning and lose 15 gold. Or I can say she should look at the heroic sagas for guidance. Now, physician is really, really handy to have. It gives her +2 learning and a medium boost to her disease resistance. Also, it means she is more likely to heal me properly. So I will buy her a better translation, and we will continue to hemorrhage money to rebuild my army. Okay, lines about legacy. The latest work of my acquaintance Jarl Torri has become all the rage at court of late. The piece deals with memory and what we leave behind, and Torri has publicly dedicated it. Why is everyone dedicating poems to me? He's heterosexual. I'm heterosexual. What man does not hope to rest when tired, his works surrounding the happy retired, and when their final hour nears, wonder, will life echo through the years? I mean, it rhymes, I'll give him that. Sending poetry is one of those things that has confused me because they seem to do it at random. There is no reason for this. The ruler of Kent, I suppose he's next door. Yeah. Oh, I humiliated him. Well, that's a shame. But it seems almost completely random as to who gets to answer the question. As to who gets the poem, sorry. Because, I mean, this guy's next door to me, but then I've also received them from complete randomers, which is odd. Okay. Sorry, it looks like I went on mute there. So in Crusader Kings 2, you had the ability to direct your allies wherever you wanted. In Crusader Kings 3, they just wander around near you. That makes it a bit of a problem. Okay, another event. Tall Tales at the Table. It's been a long, long evening in the company of Jorunda. The wanderer stopped in Buckingham for a night, paying for his stale with tales of his exploits that have lasted hours. I knew that I either had to abandon my crew or fight the whale myself. I grabbed my knife, plunged into the ocean, and wrestled the beast to shore single-handedly. Tale after tale, the saga continues, each anecdote longer and larger than the last. You simply must stay at court, Jorunda. These sound far-fetched, in which case we will probably spend prestige, or do speak well of our hospitality at your next stop. Again, generous host. You know what, the whole thing of we're telling stories, I tried to wrestle a whale and lost. If this guy says he did it, I'm sure he's telling the truth. What with his whole 10 prowess in comparison to my 19. But I am insane, so I'm much more likely to listen to him. So here we go, we have conquered the first bit. Let's go here and take the... This is what I mean about the AI being stupid. I moved, so they all moved. Completely randomly. They just go and move to another duchy, even though we nearly finished the siege over here. Cecilia, you've got a child. That's really good. Perhaps less good. We don't necessarily want more kids at this point. Oh, and because my spouse she's not average, she's good. We've got men-at-arms negotiation, so I'm now paying less for my men-at-arms. That's helpful. Okay, let's hope these guys pile in with me. Yep. And we've got 100% war score in force demands. So I can now establish Norman culture. Disband all. Okay, so this guy hates me. Why does he hate me? This guy hates me. Who else do we have here? This guy hates me. No, that's not good. Let's see. Oh, I need 250 gold. Okay. So we're going to ransom off. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so when I die, Neustria is going to go to my player heir, who we need to now start educating. Who's his relationship? I'm his guardian. That's nice. So we don't need to worry too much about that yet. We can just give away titles. So what I will do is we will get you, and we will grant you these titles. And oh, and ruin. And we will take you and grant you these titles. Just double check my succession is safe. Yeah, Duchy of Neustria is still going to Ingvar. We're only going to use Cornwall, which I'm going to be honest isn't a major problem. Let's have a look at the religions. Oh, cool. The entirety of England is now conquered by the Norse. That's not good for the Catholics. Going to eventually switch over. Let's have a look. 10 years left. Let's replace my Spymaster of 10 with a Spymaster of 20. No. What are you good at? You're good at fighting. What are you good at? Okay. Right. We're going to replace my Chancellor with my Marshal, because we only suffer a minor switch here. We're going to replace my Marshal with my, where is he? My Steward. That does take a bit of a drop, but it's not in comparison to where it was before. We're going to swap my Steward for a real Steward. He's got a really good stat line. I'm going to collect taxes. We gain lots more gold. And we're going to swap our Spymaster for much better Spymaster. Why would we want to send a poem detailing his incompetence? No. I'd like to send him a nice poem. Apparently I can only send poems against people that are mean. I can't be nice to people. Can I send a nice poem to my wife? Okay, yeah. So I can send a nice poem to my wife. I can't send a nice poem to anyone else. Again, it's not worth making these alliances because they're all with earls, which is not particularly worth bothering with. Let the armies go through. Oh, little daughter. Great. Let's have a look. You're 36, you're not going to have any more kids. You're 34, you might have more kids. My Chancellor, in an attempt at improving my reputation, my incompetent Chancellor has agreed to a treaty that cancels out parts of my old treaty with Jarl Rikulfer of Ostergotland. The way the Jarl sees it, he is free to declare war on me whenever he wishes. Where is he? Sweden? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Me and my brothers are holding England for now. We're probably not going to be a major problem. I don't care if people know I killed the King of France. Oh no, I gained the trait. So, having rejected the blackmail attempt, he's exposed my secret that I killed someone. The fact that it was the King of France and I am a Viking from Scandinavia and bribed people to do it doesn't matter. I gained the trait Murderer. People are now 15 less likely to like me. Why would you do this? You stupid, stupid man. Available perks. Mental resilience, time between mental breaks plus 3 years. Restraint, I can take embrace. So, we're going here for Know Thyself, which will allow us to get 1 year of warning before we die. That's quite useful, because it means that we can sort of go, we can put all our plans in motion, bribe people as needed to get the outcome we need. I'm hoping I survive to see my son to adulthood, because we want to have at least trained him well. Whether that actually happens or not, who knows? I've been invited to a feast at my half-brother's court in Kendal. It will be a grand affair with delightful food and entertainment. It will be my pleasure. Yeah, of course I'm going. I'm a renowned feast man. I'm going to go to the feast. So now we're seeing the feast events from the other side. Every guest is gathered in the Great Hall, and our gracious host, Earl Ubbe, has welcomed us all to the feast. Oh, he's my brother who didn't have any land to begin with. I look forward to this. Petty Queen Ileana speaks in a lowered voice filled with concern. Earl Obey has been looking at me a lot this evening. Considering Petty Queen Ileana's reputation, I almost wish she had said nothing. She's my wife, she's a fearless planner. I don't know what the problem is here. Every grin from our host now starts looking a little too wide, and every clank of a flagon or plate makes me jump, anxious that someone has incurred his wrath with some minor slight. Okay. Or worse, that person is me. I gain 30 stress, because I'm worried he's going to murder me. I see. There's nothing like a feast. It reminds us all of what is good in life, and the company is not too bad either. At least those seated close to me seem to think so. You are something special, Bjorn, Earl Obey tells me. Mayor Njarl and Countess Aldva nod their heads in agreement. I just do what feels right. That's nice. Oh, my daughter has become smarter. She's increased her learning by 3. Feast returning home. What a feast. I will remember the days spent in Earl Obey's halls for a long time to come. Now it is time to wash off the traces of merriment and wine and once more resume my duties as a lord of the realm. Farewell, my brother. I lose 24 stress, and he gains 15 opinion of me for 5 years. That's really nice. It's a really nice party with my brother. So I can now raise a runestone. Do my vanquish foe Hroffen, and I will do it in Middlesex. So we're now in this really annoying bit where we're hoping to rush to get the renown before, so that we can unlock the next legacy. My son, Jarl Arika, has been as the unborn child. Okay, so my son is having kids outside of marriage, and he's not taken her as a concubine either. Why would you do this to me, son? Why would you do this? So, let's have a look here. So, the house, the dynasty head. So, I'm the house head of Munso, but my son is the house head of Munso Stragines. Jarl born of Essex, that's me. So here's the dynastic head, which means he has special powers. Let's have a quick check. Can't declare war. Oh, Holland has popped up. Catholic Norse. So this happens when you've got the Viking invasion set to strong. You get random realms popping up that are Viking everywhere. So Holland now exists as Catholic Norse. We've not got any. Let me just do a quick check. We've not got any major Catholic Norse realms here, although taken northern France. And they've not taken anywhere in the Med, although they're peeking out over here. But you get these weird realms where the Norse decide, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go and settle over there. Or Italy being up in France. Makes perfect sense. We're going to add a rally point down here. To raise all our soldiers here. We're going to set these to raid. We're going to go and raid Paris. So we've got a few less troops on him, but he's fighting against the Umayyad Sultanate, which is in Andalusia, down here. So, you know, there's a big war down here. It doesn't really matter what we're doing up here. We're just going to go in, sneak, burn down the Louvre, steal the Eiffel Tower. But that was built in 883, wasn't it? Oh, the latest work of my friend Jarl Hastin has become all the rage at court of late. The piece deals with memory and what we leave behind, and Hastin has dedicated it to me. This seems awfully familiar. What man does not hope to rest when tired, his work surrounding the happy retired, and hope only for memory's grace, so that the whole world remembers their face. I can see it's truly heartfelt, because you've already sent me this poem. I mean, it's nice that you care about me, but it would also be nice to get different poems now and then. You don't have to just send me the one over and over and over again. I think you're plenty deep and insightful enough already, Hastin. I suppose that's a question. Has anyone in chat, if there's anyone in chat, have any of you ever written bad poetry and sent it off to someone? Have you ever received bad poetry from someone? Oh dear, Christian faiths now have access to Crusades. I don't think I've ever written bad poetry. I don't think I've ever written poetry in general, to be honest. So I wouldn't be able to write bad poetry. And I'm pretty sure I've never received poetry. You did an English degree, it was routine practice. Writing bad poetry was routine practice, or writing good poetry? Or did you just sort of hope it was good enough? Because I've got to say, I'm pretty certain I tried to write poetry at GCSE level. It was terrible. But I mean, sort of, I've never been good at poetry. I did acrostic poetry, concrete poetry. I can do that. Actual poetry, rhyming meters, it's beyond me. So we're stuck in a really annoying position here. We're aiming to get this dynastic legacy, this dynastic power up. I actually need my son to stop being so powerful. Why has he got so many? Okay, he's ranging against Greater Poland. Why are you doing that? Offer to join his war. I left you a wonderful country of Uppland. You'd write poetry you thought was alright, then get it torn to shreds by lecturer while your tutorial mates stare incredulously. Fair enough. No, so I did a biology degree, so I didn't... I had to do some creative thinking, but there's very limit to that. Getting your poetry read in class seems... I want to say cruel. That's perhaps an overstatement, but it doesn't seem very nice. But I suppose I guess you have to get used to it if you're going to ever publish work. You only really get there through blood, sweat and tears. Coveted literature. My Hofgodi Hararika approaches me with urgency. A local merchant has a copy of a compendious book on calculation by completion and balancing, but refuses to sell it to me. If you make him see the error of ways, I would be in your debt. I can make sure the book gets to him. I spend 50 gold, gain 25 learning, lifestyle experience, and gain a weak hook on him. Or I can spend 50 gold to gain 50 learning, lifestyle experience, increase my learning by 1, and he gets disappointed in me. Or I can make it sound like a you problem. Look, I'm not very smart. I'm barely able to read, but a book does sound interesting. I don't think I've ever had a book before. No, so in our tutorials we only tended to have maybe 4 at most, and we tended to more discuss the ideas present in someone else's work than come up with our own. So, when I grow up, a sudden sharp pain in the back of my shin is accompanied by a blood-curdling scream from behind me. I pivot, ready to defend myself, and am confronted by the tiny form of Gunhilda, wielding a hefty wooden stick for a club. Gunhilda is, oh, my good daughter. Fear me, the dread Viking Gunhilda has come for your gold and your monks, screams my daughter. Oh, right, okay, she's a manonizer already, accompanying it with a whack to my knee. Her tin pot helmet slips down over her eye, so all I can see is a gap-toothed smile grinning up at me. Can I be a shield maiden when I grow up? Yeah, you know what? You can. You can do anything you want. A noble goal, have at thee, rogue. Stop troubling me with foolish dreams. Ha! We shall see, little one. Yeah, you know what? She can become a shield maiden if she wants. Let's give her the best fighting person we can find. In ours, if you even so much as alluded to something someone had already written, you had the book thrown at you. No, so we would get given a list of articles to read, and we'd then have to discuss the ideas that someone else had presented. Yeah, she is a strong, independent... Well, she doesn't need one man. She doesn't need no men. She's saying she's after all of their monks. I think she wants plenty of men. So let's filter these people on... Oh, okay, Jarl Hasteen. Yeah, so when you educate a child, the important things are that they are smart, that they have a smart trait, so quick, smart, intelligent, and that they have a high stat. So what we'll do is we'll get my neighbour who's super smart, but he's not in... okay. You, random Muslim dude in Africa, would you like to educate my daughter? Oh, he can't. He's already got 2. Let's have a look. Is there anyone else super smart around? Okay. Hasteen, would you like to educate my daughter? God damn it, you're already... Right, okay. Let's go with my Gunhilda, and we will educate child. Let's find... Right, you can. My wife can do it. She's smart. She's intelligent. She's relatively good at hitting people, and she's averagely intelligent. That's going to have to be good enough. And let's switch who's in charge of the army to this dude. And speed us up a chunk. Oh dear, my brother is dead. So we can do a small symbolic ship, a grand stone ship, an ornate sailing ship, or just say it's too expensive. I've only got 60 gold, so I'm going to have to spend 50 on a small stone ship for my brother. Yes, I will join your peasant uprising. Ah, good, it's already won. Right, so he hates me. But let's give him a child. You can educate my daughter. That will make him like me. A life to remember. Ivar. I stand in front of a small crowd of mourners, eyes sweeping over each of the weeping bereaved in turn, and begin my speech. Ivar was so many things. He was a fine jarl, an exalted man, and an unparalleled paragon of Asatru virtue. But to me, first and foremost, he was my brother. We will never see his like again. The barrow behind me already contains a small facsimile of a ship, traced in weighty headstones and filled with cobbles. It is already buried neath a weighty grave of earth. Retainers carry in the last of the burial treasures, and then finally Ivor's corpse is laid atop its bier. I will close the mound. Ah, something happened. End of war. Okay. Ah, you're half done. My other brother is sending me poetry now. That's very nice of him. Where other men speak silvered words, he leads soldiers in iron herds. His subjects prove grateful, for if they are not, then next to his door is his sword brought. It's a half rhyme. I'll give him that. So far, I've kept my thoughts to myself. Yeah, you know what? It could be worse, and at least it's a new one. Unlike Hastings, who keeps sending me the same poem, I can say it's truly heartfelt. Thank you very much. And we're going to disband these. I don't know why this dude wanted to go for here. It's a terrible place to go for. My son is such a disappointment. I am glad that Ingvar is being useful. Still don't want to establish Norman culture. I'm stressed again. Let's get more stressed. And then, can we go on a hunt? We can't go on a hunt yet. Still got another 10 years to go. Oh, I gained 100 gold. That's nice. We can go on a hunt now. Oh, we probably should host a feast. Because I'm a reveller, I lose stress. This is just such a nice thing to have in the game. By playing to your traits, you can reduce your stress, which makes it's not something you can't do. You can completely avoid playing to your traits if you want. It's a struggle, but it's completely doable. But it makes the role-playing aspect so much more. So, a laudable effort. The feast is underway, guests are eating and drinking, and Earl Obey approaches Ileana and me at the great table. This is a marvellous feast, all my compliments to the host. So going to my wife, doing a great job. I was shocked when I caught Ingvar trying to steal from the travel chest of the visiting Count Von. He confessed he had fought if he could get away with it, but he knows it was wrong. Honesty? Honest is a terrible trait. It makes murdering people hard. We have to cover it up. He gains deceitful. Deceitful is sinful, so we don't really want that. And humble. Humble is only benefits here. It does have problems with giving stuff away, claiming things, but that shouldn't be a problem. Lord Mayor Ambijorn leans over. I wish I knew how to sound as clever as you, Jarl Bjorn. I wipe the soup off my chin and smile an intelligent-looking smile. I am such a smart man, with my intelligence of 4. To be fair, he has intelligence of 2 and is possessed. So I must seem like the absolute pinnacle of wisdom. As my guests depart, everyone is heading home. I'm proud to say the feast was a success. I have my wife to thank. Yep, I do. Thank you, wife. Oh dear, my brother died. My nephew is an insane adventurer. And my other nephew is a vindictive adventurer. Oh, that sounds nice. I can't negotiate an alliance with them because they are not my spouse, my child, my parent, or my sibling. It seems so weird I can't negotiate an alliance with a nephew. Council. Right. Go back to organised levies. Ooh. Another learning perk. Know thyself. So know thyself is when death of natural causes is 1 year away, you will receive a warning. This is useful because it means when you're nearly dead, you can start figuring out how to make things work properly. Right, why can I have an alliance with this dude? Negotiate alliance. He's also okay. Okay, they're cousins. Cool. No, I don't want to negotiate an alliance with you. I suppose the AI is getting in on it quite early then. Everyone is Norse. Why are they all Norse? Come on, military. Okay, we're going to raise all armies. We're going to set them to raid, and I'm going to lead the raid. Now, let's have a look at the Umayyads. 66. Right, okay. Cool. Yep, we're going to go and raid Corboda, which has 74 gold, but they don't have very many men left. They are losing a war and have less than 100 soldiers. This is going to be about as likely as we can to claim it ever. Pause. Close that. Ransom. Yeah, you can have your son back. Aha. Ooh, he's smart. Okay, we're going to go and burn down the Wilaya of Seville. So you get the option when raiding to propose a truce sometimes. Why would I propose a truce? I am a Viking adventurer. We have been through this, Steam. I am a murderer, poet, adventurer, and also I'm a lunatic. We'll swap out here, and we will then go on a hunt. I'm not going to do that. He can stay in the prison for now. So because he's smart, I'm probably going to keep him and marry him off to a daughter. Oh, okay. My son, player Aaron War, is getting his second ward and is getting his second trait. There was a commotion among the children today. Gunhilda was attempting to preach among her fellow youngsters and became the target of a small fight. Gunhilda, no! Ingvar was furious that anyone could target someone attempting to speak on behalf of Sif and chased away the other children. So, you will serve a divine well child. He gains zealous, bonus to martial, bonus to piety. Other faiths hate him. Do not be afraid. He will gain brave, Or let me tell you how you could have mediated this. Well, I'm brave, so he's going to become brave. I'm going to kill that rabbit. Can I kill him? I can't. What are you at war for? We're going to create a Varangian Veterans unit. So, the problem with not being the dynastic head is that I don't get to pick the next legacy. AI, to help stop this being a problem, the AI will pick the next in the tree that you started picking. We specifically don't want that to happen. We want him to pick a different tree. That's not going to happen if he is still alive. Annoyingly, because I'm not sadistic, I can't kill him. We kind of just have to hope he loses land. How has he got this, mate? Okay, he's got Huskarls, Vigmen and Bondi. I guess I will probably need to up my growth a bit as well. Lacking literacy. Okay, I can't read. My lord, it has come to my attention that you might require some tutelage in the art of deciphering written communication, my Hofgardi Hrarika says, presenting me with a scroll. That's very diplomatically put, Hrarika. If it would please my lord, I'd be willing to instruct you. I have the perfect text right here. The king have a big crown. Or I am a proficient reader. Gaining the extra learning trait, even though it gains extra stress, it won't push me over a barrier, so that's fine. And we then don't have a feast or a hunt. So let's have a look. Those are slowly increasing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add a rally point over here. We're going to let this fill up. Let's just check. Is everyone doing what they should be doing? Yeah, he's increasing. We should put you on increased control. I should put you on organised levies. So each of your council members has 3 tasks they can pick from. Your vicar can religious relations, which gets you bonus piety, and theocrats like you more. They can convert faith, or they can fabricate claims. As a Viking, you can just declare war on anyone because you feel like it. So fabricate claim is not great. Your chancellor, foreign affairs, which gets you bonus prestige, domestic affairs, which gets your vassals like you more, or integrate title, which is useful when you're a king and you want to get bonus duchies as part of your kingdom. Your steward can collect bonus taxes, can increase development, or can promote culture. Now, we've already switched culture in London. We're not too worried about the rest of them. Here, the bonus prestige is useful, and for religion, converting faith, we're trying to stop the peasants rebelling. Marshal, you can organise levies, which will give us extra garrison, extra levy size, and it will make them come quicker. You can train commanders, which will make your men-at-arms cheaper, but it will also make your knights better occasionally. Or you can increase control. Increasing control makes you gain more levies, it gains more tax, but it makes the peasants hate you. Your spy master can disrupt schemes, which makes it harder for people to kill you, support schemes, which makes it easier for you to kill other people, and it can find secrets, which is useful if you want to try and make your vassals do what you say by blackmailing them. They're very, very important. Aha. So, here we go. Mental break, estranged authority. My courtiers seem to avoid me at all costs. I hear whispers that my bravery is mistaken for bloodlust, but that just means I rule with a firm hand. It doesn't mean I'm a monster. Does it? So, we've got the option to pick up Irritable, which is not great because it gets us high blood pressure, which is bad for our health. Maybe Irica will support me. We gain the trait Confider, which means we get bonus diplomacy, bonus stress loss, we lose stress, and my son will like me more. Well, I don't need love, just obedience, which makes me even more stressed. So Confider, great. We're now less stressed, and we're going to go down and talk to Confidant. I lose even more stress, although all my courtiers like me less. That's not really a problem, because I'm powerful. Okay, we're going to assign you to it. Bonus taxes, 6%. Okay. Increase development. Change culture. Right, okay. So, let's keep this going. See what happens. Viking Essex. So this is what happens when someone declares a war, a Varangian adventure, against someone who doesn't hold the title. It creates the Viking or Norse or Nordic duchy title. So he has Viking Essex, whilst I have Essex. She's pregnant at 41. Seems a bit weird, Cecilia. Gotta tell you the truth. So, this translation of Herophilius is atrocious, she says with a sigh. Ooh. So she becomes a top-tier doctor. She's got loads of learning, huge boost to disease resistance. Oh dear, I'm poorly. That's not good. Why am I poorly? I'm a lunatic, that's why. Okay. Oh dear, it's a son. Let's have a look what's happening to succession now. Oh, okay, nothing. He doesn't inherit at all. Cool. So we got our new learning perk. We picked up the next in the learning tree, and that means we're now one away from getting a final huge health boost. Hopefully we will survive to see that happen. Why are you at war? Oh, peasant uprising. Commission Epic. Now, I'm reluctant to commission Epic at this point because my son over here is the dynastic head. I can't make him dislike me. Oh, wait. He's got a prowess of 27. Wow, okay. Probably shouldn't fight him. Was hoping that I might be able to find some way of getting rid of him. He's as the dynastic head, he has the ability to pick the next dynastic legacy, which we don't want him to do because he will screw it up, because that's what the AI does. So fingers crossed, we don't tell him how to, we don't let him do it, we just leave him to do whatever, and he will not get it in time. Okay, we probably shouldn't raid you, but we can raid it. There's no point raiding Italy, they're not very wealthy. No point raiding Holland, they're quite poor as well. So no point raiding Nantes. Catholic peasant leader. Well, of course there's a point raiding you. You've got very few, very little military. So he can become zealous or calm. So zealous is great. At which point we will now remove Guardian, and we will switch Guardian. We will go for who's got a good stewardship. My wife is going to do it because she's smart and has good stewardship. Oh, someone else is raiding here already. Right. So we're raiding the coasts of Brittany to try and get that little bit extra gold. And we're going to ransom you. 0? I don't think so. For 0, you can stay in jail. Nowhere is particularly wealthy right now. It's often worth building a base down in the Med and raiding from there. In Earl Bjorn's inane efforts to improve my relations with my neighbours, my good-for-nothing Chancellor has officially acknowledged Duke Bedouin's claim to the grand city of O. No! Don't be ridiculous. I'm going to murder you again. Oh good, I'm now infirm. We are now looking towards the point where I'm going to die. 1 holding above my limit of 3. I don't want to give any away because that's going to cause inheritance issues, so I'm just going to have to suffer from being above domain limit, which is great. Thankfully, I will inherit as... Oh, he's not doing very well. I'll have to inherit as my... Oh, good, my wife's dead. That's exactly what we wanted. Yay! So, here I have just picked the highest stewardship woman. It turns out she's quick as well, which is good. Because it means she's more likely to educate my child well. Let's actually just double check. Yeah. Who are you? Yeah, okay. Varangian adventure against Croatia. Oh, you can tell which one it is because it's bright green. Jarldom of Nordic Dalmatia. Okay, you're already at war with lots of people. Cool. That's good. Glad things are going well for you. And things are not doing particularly well up here. Scandinavia is an absolute mess. no one is doing particularly well up there. Which is a shame. Let's get my army back into Avalanches. The Memoriam of a Jarl. Men need not fear as lives depart, though it may tear their grievers apart. 'Tis rare enough for men to admit that all they leave behind is shit. I kept my thoughts to myself, yeah, okay, it rhymes. And I'm going to be honest, that's quite a good one. So yeah, I like that one. And we now need to go raid someone else. Cool. You're quite strong. You're not quite so strong. How rich are you? We're going to go raid the whole... We're going to burn the entirety of Navarra to the ground. Yeah, all one county of it. Okay, who's this? My Chancellor, Vassal, and Champion. A promise is a promise, no matter what, or it's just drunken ramblings. Just drunken ramblings. I am not giving one of my vassals a hook on me. A hook will enable them to modify their contract, so they pay less tax or give me less men for war, or ensures they always sit on their council, which is terrible because it's always the really stupid vassals who get it. It's never it's never someone useful. It's always the stupid people who you would absolutely hate to have in charge. And they end up on your council and end up in charge, which is, a problem. Can I lead it? Put me back on the raid. Kill this army, get prestige. Run away! Six stewardship. Oh, come on. That's appalling, son. Appointed court position. You're really just not good at anything. Got rubbish stats. We'll put him as the court physician because that way he's potentially going to gain learning slowly. Even if it's not much. But maybe he'll be useful when we swing over to him. New perk for learning lifestyle. Healthy, medium boost to health. How's my health doing? Poor. That's a shame. It's really annoying because for some reason he's got... My son has got... So I've got 1355. He's got... He's only got 823. dynasty head. So the dynasty head is going to be the most powerful house head of a dynasty, as determined by military strength. I would have thought that's me. I've got I'm stronger than him. Do I need to declare war? What happens if I declare war? Who will join me? Croatia and Wessex. Oh, he gets local people joining in. Have I got any mercenaries I can hire? None, but we'll swing it. So this is looking like I might just need to go ham on ooh, 50 gold, we like that. Can we ransom you for 1 gold? That's not worth it. So what happens if I surrender? I pay 184. You know what? I am happy to do that. I lose 1 level of fame. Okay, can I break alliance? No. Can't murder him. Living legend. I need another 3,000 to get to the next level of fame. Well, that's not going to happen. Yeah, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to conquer duchy. Attacked an ally. General opinion hates me. So we're going to raise all armies. We're going to call allies to war. And we're going to raise mercenaries. So these are pikemen. Pikemen are good against light and heavy cavalry. You can bowmen, which are good against skirmishers, or bowmen, which are good against skirmishers. We can't hire anyone else, so we're going to go for the bodyguards of Gwendolyn. I've lost a level of fame. My nephews are joining my war. My brother is too. That's good. And Kent has joined in for my son. So let's go down and siege Kent's capital. There we go. I am the new dynastic head. I can't do it quick. Okay, well, we'll do this and we'll see if we can get enough gold. Because what we're aiming for is we're going to finish this war. We're going to remain the dynastic head. We're going to get that second legacy, which will be ideal. Task finished. Acquaintance. Who? Neighbouring ruler. Oh, Hastings dead. His son was terrible. That's a shame. Okay, now let's go and capture my son. can I ransom? Will you be ransomable? 25 gold. Yes. You be ransomable for 1 gold. Good enough. You be ransomable. 25 gold. He's already considering an offer. You, we're going to execute you. How are you getting pregnant? You're 45. It's very impressive. Come on, come on. Jump into the battle. I keep forgetting this. Oh good, another war. Right. You go over here and deal with them. Okay, I will accept a white peace against my son. So for white peace, I wouldn't often do it, but we're already in the hole. We're fighting another war, and we're very, very close to who gets control of the dynasty. Call allies, Wessex. Cool, I've got a year left to live. This is what I mean. These guys were just about to jump into combat. Saw that I'd ran away, so decided they would as well, despite the fact that they outnumbered peasants. Why is this not beaten? Allies. Right, well, we're going to go siege Anjou. I don't know why you're joining in this war, but don't know how you're joining in this war. This is the thing, normally peasant leaders don't get allies, but for some reason this countess has jumped in. So, can't be having that. We're going to try and take that. Furidur. Okay. Well, let's marry you off to Viking Croatia. Don't want to establish Norman culture yet. My heir is unmarried and there are raiders in my territory. We can deal with all of that. Let's go to our council. Check. Yep, you are on organising levies. Raise all here. How dare you raid me? To take that gold back, thank you very much. Mercenaries can't raid, so to do the raiding we have to split off the mercenaries. So we're going to split off new army. So bodyguards of Gwendolyn, special soldiers, bodyguards of Gwendolyn. Okay, I'm going to select these guys, and you are going to head over here. I am dead. Cool. Disband all of them. Well, I'm now going to kill my brother. And I guess I now need to marry. Let's have a look. Is there anyone who's worth marrying? Alliance power. Jarldom of Norsemen army. That's Wessex. Yeah. So we're going to marry here for Wessex. Okay, we can hold 4. That's good. So we're in a relatively good position here. We have admittedly lost Dorset to Pomerania, Cornwall to Pomerania. But let's look. So that's going to be Bjorn Eriksson. That's going to Gunnar Eriksson. Let's have a look. Can we bribe anyone to join? We now need to add people back into all these roles. So we're going to add a marshal, add a steward, and a chancellor. Why do you dislike me so much? Unreformed, arrogant, on the council assurance. So eventually he's going to like me vaguely. Get rid of that. We don't want to establish Norman culture. We want to ransom you for 50 gold. So what we're looking to do here is, whilst we are betrothed to Elf's daughter. Oh, okay, he's not going to inherit any titles. We do have the inheritance right now. Why are we losing this much money? Oh, we're rebuilding our army. I see. So we should get dynasty leader back at some point. We're voting for my sister because we don't have anyone else who can inherit. My brother, but we're hoping he dies. At some point. He should, because he is... I'm 19. I'm already a berserker. Wow. Whereas he is 52. So he shouldn't be long for this world. I'm gaining 2 renown a month, which is great, because we've got 2 dukes, 1 duke by marriage and 1 count by marriage. So we're doing not too badly. Oh, you are married. So we're going to go for my half-brother, I guess, who gains everything on my death. Okay, we've got all our gold is now back to positive. Going to let these guys finish totting back up. And then we can start raiding for gold. We're going to just raid up through Northamptonshire because they are Catholics and they don't have enough people to stop us. By allowing them to, or by getting the group up a little bit, getting a few more levies raised, we'll be able to do it that bit quicker, get that bit more gold, which will carry us forward. Oh good, the plot's exposed. Oh no, I wonder who could have done it. It was us. We're trying to kill him. He should probably know that by now. Well, you'd hope he would. Still quite upset he managed to get all my titles, and I'm hoping it splits so that we can become the dynastic head again. But you never know. It might turn out that we don't, and he ruins all our plans. So let's keep going. Hope for the best. So does anyone else here actually play Crusader Kings? Any other Paradox games at all? I've got a lot of time on the Crusader Kings 2. I've also done Stellaris quite a bit. I tried Hearts of Iron. I couldn't get the hang of it. And I also tried, what's the world one? Victoria, maybe? Where you build a colonial empire. And again, I struggled with it. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was different to Crusader Kings, so I came back to this. Let's move our capital, or probably not move our capital yet. Aim to move it at some point soon. We don't want to stay in Berkhamsted and Buckingham forever. London is a much better capital. We just can only move capital once, so we want to make sure that we do it when everything's working well. So, for example, once we've managed to get Norman culture working. And obviously we don't want to get Norman culture until we've got the next legacy. Okay, we've got 2,000 troops. Has a bit more. Raise all as raiders. Raise all. So, look here, we've got 100 men from my father's time. Let's actually have a look at the history of Essex. So these 100 people are from 875. 21 years these Viking adventurers have sat in my father's halls, fighting now and then, and now we're off on another battle. They've lasted quite a while. I'm probably going to chew through them soonish. Okay, let's go over here. So what I'm hoping to do now is that I can raid here, kill my brother. This sounds awful. Please don't take any of this out of context. But I can raid here, kill my brother, at which point I become the dynastic head, and I can then direct where the next legacy goes. Once I've got that next legacy, we can switch over to Norman, which will be fantastic, because that means we're in control of our own development going forward. Of course, this could all go wrong. We fail to capture my brother, or he captures me, in which case we switch to him, as he is my heir. That is cheesing it a little bit, if I'm being honest. But fingers crossed, we'll manage to get it sorted. So we now need to assign a new steward. We've got the option of a powerful vassal or a useful vassal. So we're going to stick a useful guy on. One upset vassal isn't going to be a major problem. It's something we're going to have to deal with. But you want vassals to rebel now and then because it allows you to crush them and then execute people. And the executions mean that you can... 34 gold in Sigtuna. Why is no one else raiding you? By executing people, you get the dread. Dread makes people scared of you, which means vassals are less likely to rise up against you. It means people are more likely to vote with you. It does mean people dislike you somewhat, but that's something you have to deal with. You are an angry Viking in Britannia. No, we don't want to raid there. They've got too many people. How about Estonia? Estonia is fine. We can go burn Estonia to the ground. And they've got 23 gold sitting around, just waiting for people to go and pick it up. It's not doing anyone any use there. Let's see, can I ransom him? I can't ransom him. Fine. I'm going to execute him. I am a pinnacle of peace and stability, executing everyone who I capture. What a wonderful country I lead. More gold. Ooh, pay 15, he gains not feeling well. I gained a level of devotion. We can go back. Their strength is superior to ours. I can't declare war. So we've got 10 months. Oh good, he's dead. That sounds awful. So because he's dead, he has split his realm because he was on Confederate partition. So Pomerania has gone to one son, Jarl Bjorn Eriksson, and the other one is Jarldom of Cornwall, which has gone to Jarl Gunnar Eriksson. Oh, we will ransom her for a favour. That worked out very nicely, which is really good. Let's raise a runestone. So we're going to raise it for my father, and we're going to do that in Hertfordshire. We're then going to pick a perk. I don't have a liege. Why would I ever have picked that? We're going to pick golden obligations. I can demand payment for hooks, which means that I will, whenever I release someone for a hook, I can then use that. And let's pick it is my domain, so I can extort subjects. They won't be happy with that, but it means I get some extra bonus gold here and there. Concubine. We'll take you as a concubine for now. So, mutual mental break, resentment. Why must I always do everything myself? How can I expect it to rule over Essex when half of my servants are incapable of following my orders, and the other half does not even understand them? So by Odin, I need a drink. I can become a drunkard, or I can endure and gain 60 stress. This, I hate it cascades, so I'm just going to endure, gain the 60 stress, take me up to 170. So I can gain 75 gold for extorted courtiers, so they hate me. So we're just going to gain 50 gold. Why has he replaced me? He's got one. So, we've got 4 months left. Can we murder him that quickly? No. Okay. We're going to have to hope that we get more... Sorry, father. I am the new dynasty head. We're going to have to hold on to this. didn't pick a good time to die. It was a very annoying time. Okay, we're very nearly there. So, my vassal has informed me of an obscure law in the grand city of Ruin that states none but the Jarl may be its protector. Normally, such an archaic law would be dismissed, but it offers me a unique chance to put Lord Mayor Balder, my vassal and current ruler of the grand city of Ruin, in his place. The law is clear, I have full rights, I get an unpressed claim, but he becomes my rival, or he can keep the title by my grace. He can keep the title by my grace. I'm nearly full on... I am full up here, 4 out of 4. So we're just going to make him like me more. He slowly is going to like me even more. Why do you want a seat on the council? You're terrible. Look at these stats. 7 is your best and that's poor. I'm not one to talk because my best is 12 and that's average. Here we go. Dynastic Legacy number 2. This allows us to pick up Sea Wolves. We now get plus 1 prowess, plus 20% naval speed, plus 100% prestige and fame from battles, and 750 renown. Let's pick here. Okay, excellent. So, sparklingly clean. The Norse people are famously, fastidiously clean. One of life's greatest lights is hearing even our harshest foes bitterly admit that no man's beard is better combed, no man's hair more regularly soaped, nor no man's face scrubbed quite so clear of blemishes as that of a good Norseman. Today is bath day, but I feel as though a change of routine might do me good. After all, if the Norse are well groomed, does it not behoove a Jarl to be the best groomed? So, I can gain rigorous bathing for 10 years, which will give me a massive boost to my health, a little bit of extra care, which gives me an attraction of plus 25 for 10 years, or just the usual, where I lose 20 stress. A little extra care. Okay, now, I have both dynastic legacies that I want, so we are actually now coming to the perfect place for the end of the stream. We are going to call it in a few more minutes, because we're just going to do as a final... we're going to establish Norman culture. We're going to merge our Norse, not nurse, and local French cultures together. We will discover everything from Norse culture, everything from French culture. We call ourselves Normans. So this brings us into the innovations down here. We have a look. There's all sorts of things we've gained from this. We've gained longships and Viking tactics from Normans, from the Norse. We've got all these bonuses up here from the French. And we're working on getting bonuses. We will also, as of the year 900, be able to start moving forward into the early medieval era, which is the next era and actually contains useful technologies rather than what you'd hope is the basics for civilization. So before we finish, we're going to set our steward to convert culture here to Norman, and we're now going to make Londres, or London, our realm capital. So that, and we're going to then work here. So we've now got everyone working on what we hope them to need next time. Let's have a quick check. So our vassal has switched to Norman, to Norman, to Norman, to Norman, to Norman. So this is where I will call the stream for today. So let me unpause and we will run until we hit our next save, which should be quite soon. It auto saves every couple of months. There we go, auto saving. So we're now going to exit game. We're going to exit to desktop, and let me transition over to my the next screen. Where is it gone? So thank you all for coming today. We're now going to look for someone to raid with all let's have a quick check. Everyone that's in channel, there's only a few of us. Let me have a quick check here. View around. Where have we gone? We're going to Raid channel. Who have we got? So we've got let's see if there's anyone playing Crusader Kings. That we can move on to. Okay, no one here that I know. Let's have a look through here. Oh, okay. So we will go through and let's see if I can set this up. So this is Tarot 19. We're going to set a raid. Hello, Scorpy. It's nice to see you back. I'm glad you're here. You've come just as we are about to leave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a command in chat. Now that will put Nightbot has put a message in chat. The Viking raid, pillage then burn. If everyone can copy that, we are going to go raid Tarot 19. She is a VTuber. She's got a... Oh, she's ending soon. Perhaps not. Let's do it anyway. We've only got a few minutes. We've hopefully only got a few minutes before she finishes. So let's go. If we can copy that message. And paste that in chat as we get there. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen.